is that you get the impression whatever discipline he chose to fight in, he would be successful. Obviously, the Ngannou story, fighting in mixed martial arts. Ngannou obviously is a UFC star. Dylan White said, make that fight, I'll fight him. You know, there is a bit of interest for it online. Would you be open to that, or do you want to sort of get him concentrating on boxing?
It's not just interest online. There's huge interest everywhere for that fight. When I first started discussing it, it was just something that had been mentioned, and people have always, you know, fans of both disciplines have always said, "Oh, White against Ngannou is a cracker," and I've started to receive a lot of interest from numerous people about staging that fight now. I think it does colossal numbers. You know, it's the first real genuine crossover fight. I know we had Floyd and we had Conor, but this.
Yes, yes, yes. It's Boxing Talk and Classic Fight Review. Okay. Slightly different start than usual. What's going on here? What's going on here? Oops. I forgot to press send. Okay. So let me check. Yeah. 1 2 1 2. Live and direct to you. Okay. So where's the thumbnail? That's not it. Where is it? Boom. 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 Okay. And of course, as per usual, let me do my sound check. And of course, as per usual, excellente. So, where are we? Let's get this thing popping. Same time I say that, I hear a pop. And who is it? Who could it be? Who could it be?
Big up, it's Troy Graham, man. How you doing, sir? How you doing?
It's the Troy Graham up in the building. I'm doing very well, I'm doing very well. I'm alive. I'm doing very well. I'm alive. Let me put this right there. Troy Graham muted himself immediately. Boxing Talk and Classic Fight Review 6. Okay. So, as the title suggests, that's what
I was going to ask you.
We're going to be doing
a question before we continue.
We're going to be doing some boxing talk, and we're going to review a classic fight. Troy Graham.
Yes, sir. When I was posting the show today, I actually mistakenly posted the Boxing Talk / George Floyd discussion show. Did you have that show? That was the earlier show, right?
No, that was the show that you posted. If you was posting today's show, there's only been one other show today, and that was it. That was
right. So you might have some people checking in who might want to discuss the situation. That would be on me. So if you open to that, then when they check in, just let me know. If not, then
What do you mean? The people going into that conversation?
Yeah.
Going into that the previous show, you mean?
Yes.
So what you're saying to me? I just understood. I just think I'm understanding.
Okay.
What you're saying to me? What you're saying to me? What you're saying to me is that instead of posting this show, you posted the earlier show by accident.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I said.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. Okay. Well, c'est la vie. Such is life. Accidents will happen. Let me go over to the chat. See what's going on. Georgie Porgy up in the building. Okay, we're now officially live. We've been going for 4 minutes, 52 seconds, and now we're live. That's pretty good. Sometimes the notification comes like 20 minutes later, so that's pretty darn good. And of course, Troy Graham is here. The Philip Carl Robert is here. What else we got? We got the Codmaster. Enjoyed the show the other night. Glad to be back. Well, you've missed one earlier on. Codmaster. But that's all good in the hood. We're here now for the classic, what is it? For the Boxing Talk and Classic Fight Review 6. And that's how we're doing it. That's how we're doing it.
Third.
Sorry? That's how we're doing it here.
This will be my third Classic Fight show.
Third.
Did 6 so far.
Yeah, we've done 6 so far. You're 3 weeks in. That's pretty good still. What we got?
Yes, sir.
We got we got Chase Athletics in the building. Okay, so we got some people in now, and 6 minutes in. That's Cool and the Gang. So schedule of works is we're going to be looking at some topics, boxing related topics. I show my face. I'm camera ready. We're going to be looking at some topics, boxing topics, chopping them up. And then we're going to go into looking into a classic fight. But first things first, there has been an update. On the situation we talked earlier on. Where am I? Let me have a look. Okay. All right, so I'm going into Twitter to share the update. To share the update with you. And let's get I'm taking it everybody knows about the George Floyd thing. We did a whole show about that earlier on. So we've already done that. Anybody want to check the show? I know there's some people here who were in that show, but some people who have not checked that, feel free to check that out tomorrow or after this, whenever, at your convenience. So we're not going to go too deep into it now because we've already gone way deep into it. But I think it would be remiss of me. It would be remiss of me not to mention it. It would be remiss of me not to mention the update, what's recently happened, and to share that with you. And so, why don't I just go on right ahead and share that now? Let's make this thing bigger. Okay.
Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin is in custody. Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin has been charged by the Hennepin County Attorney's Office with murder and with manslaughter. He has been charged with third-degree murder. We are in the process of continuing to review the evidence. There may be subsequent charges later. I failed to share with you a detailed complaint. Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin is in custody. Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin has been charged by the Hennepin County Attorney's Office with murder and with manslaughter. He has been charged with third-degree murder. We are in the process of continuing to review the evidence. There may be subsequent charges later. I failed to share with you a detailed complaint will be made available to you this afternoon. I didn't want to wait any longer to share the news that he's in custody and has been charged with murder. We have evidence. We have the citizens' cameras, video, the horrible, horrific, terrible thing we've all seen over and over again. We have the officer's body-worn camera. We have statements from some witnesses. We have a preliminary report from the medical examiner. We have discussions with an expert. All of that has come together. So we felt in our professional judgment, it was time to charge, and we have so done.
That ending was quite abrupt. Never mind. Never mind. Okay. Let me get back into the chat.
Yeah, I was going to step in on this.
Carry on.
Yeah, it's a start, but it's not enough. Yeah, lock him up for murder. Make sure he could never work in law enforcement again, not even as a security guard. His pension needs to go to that family. And then basically that family needs to sue him in civil court. Okay? That's what I want from him. And I want life for him. I don't want the death penalty. I don't want him getting away easy. Let him look up at the sun and know he could never see it as a free man again. Ever.
Do you know what the charge is?
I heard some of them, but go ahead and tell me. Go ahead. He was charged with murder, right?
3rd degree.
Yeah. See, smoke screen. That's you know, 2nd degree, 3rd degree. I know that's a little lighter than 1st degree.
2nd degree is lighter. 3rd degree. 3rd degree is a slap on the wrist.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. It's a smoke screen. That's exactly what I mean. This is a smoke screen, and you know, I know what you know, my thing is this, right? On a whole, and I'm just talking about blacks in America. I'm not talking about black people on a whole. We spend a trillion, and I'm not positive that could be higher or lower. That number is higher, I believe. $1 trillion to $900 billion every year with somebody else. So, you know, my thought was this: take that money away, keep your hands in your pocket, and go spend with only black owned businesses. I mean, 100% black owned, not managed by black people, owned. You got to go a little further, go a little further. You got to pay a little bit more, pay a little bit more. Okay? Because that's the only way we're gonna take any power away. And that's just the beginning. Then you go into your own communities and start building from the inside. And it sounds, you know, and I got that type of thinking by reading Marcus Garvey. And I can tell you about the Japanese. They had 2 bombs dropped on them, and they came back to be a superpower in less than a century. The reason is that they followed the teachings of Marcus Garvey. They had a leader that followed the teachings of Marcus Garvey and taught it to his people, and they just quietly worked with only themselves until they had enough power where they could say, we can work with others. And that's how they rebuild their country in under a century after being blown to hell by 2 bombs. So we have no excuses. None.
3rd degree murder. Let me share my screen with you. That's not that. That's that. What is the definition of 3rd degree murder? Can you see it? No, it's a bit small. We can rectify that immediately. Okay, so what is 3rd degree murder, USA? 3rd degree murder can be defined as homicide. A homicide committed with the intention of causing bodily harm, but not necessarily death. It can be a killing that results from indifference or negligence or recklessness. Statutes defining 3rd degree murder may vary considerably from state to state. Okay, I'll leave that up there, go through some comments, and I'll address what you just said. Troy. Okay. R.I.P. Floyd, George Floyd, Reverend Pickles up in the building, James Jameson up in the building. The problem it causes: more segregation. We need to all get along, mix more. First degree murder, I'd give him the electric chair. Okay, I'm going to address what you said earlier. On. The problem is it causes more. Okay, so basically what you said without setting it up. without setting it up, it sounds hella racist. It sounds hella racist. I know what you mean, but that's because I'm educated in the school of Marcus Garvey, in the school of Malcolm X, in the school of Martin Luther King. So I'm educated, but to someone who is not educated in those schools, what you said there would sound hella racist to them. So I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna give you the pretext to that. Okay.
Okay.
So,
okay. Good.
No, hold on. So what I'm saying is that the pretext to that is that basically what happens in the communities, in a lot of Black communities, is that they tend to spend their money with everywhere, anywhere and everywhere. And as a consequence of that, you don't get the amount of commercial leaders that you should do in Black communities if the Black communities tended to spend amongst themselves. So you don't get Black leaders coming up in commerce as many as there should be. So that then causes underrepresentation in the seats of powers, in the seats of power. Underrepresentation in the seats of power means that you go unrepresented. And how does that manifest itself in this situation? Well, it manifests itself in decision makers not sitting around decision-making tables being underrepresented by African Americans. That's why African Americans have to centralize their income more than they currently do, so that they may have representatives sitting at the seats, in the seats of power, as well as their counterparts from different communities. And that's, I think that would be my explanation. That's the pretext to what Troy said. Okay, so as we continue on, let's go. 100% are putting face to face with the protesters. The electric chair is due. What we saying?
What the hell? Hello?
Hello.
Good, man. My phone, I cannot wait to get off this, get with Verizon. My phone just literally kicked me off the show a second ago. So I didn't catch anything you said, but keep on.
Yeah,
no,
I already done it. I explained the pretext to what you said.
Okay, good, because I'm going to jump in now and make it real simple, just go ahead and simplify it. In every major city in this country, there's a Chinatown, there's a Jewish neighborhood. The Italians have their actual community, and the Polish have their community, so on and so forth. Every group in this country has their own community where they spend with each other. Nobody says anything. What I just said is simply being done already. It's just not being brought to the forefront, and nobody's saying, well, Chinatown is wrong. What's wrong about it? You know what that is? That's them saying that we can unify and make money with ourselves. And once we're strong enough, we will give you a product that we feel that you could buy from us, take it or leave it. Why is it when Black people do the same thing is wrong? Right? It's not wrong.
I don't see it as being wrong. I'm just saying that what you said, I just put a pretext on it to put it into context, because what you said, you never put any context on it. So I had to put a context on it. Now what you've done is you've put even more context on it. So it's very clear and understandable now. But whatever you say on the internet, there's always somebody out there ready to clip it, and make it and give it a different intent. So what I do is I make sure that I set up the pretext. So whatever I'm saying, it becomes very, very clear. So with the pretext, it's now very, very clear. Without it, not so much. But anyway, it's good.
Okay. Let me answer this person in the chat, Eddie Stavern. His question is, what was dude up to get shot? Anyone know? Eddie Stavern wasn't doing anything. It was alleged that he was passing fake 20s, and then when the police stopped him, he gave them his license and all that, but he didn't feel comfortable getting out the car, so he stayed in the car, and of course he got yanked out. Then he got murdered. So he wasn't doing anything. There was no violence involved. There was no guns involved. All that stuff is nothing involved that caused him to lose his life. Nothing at all.
So he was in a car? He was in a car?
Yes, sir. He was in the car. He just didn't feel comfortable getting out.
In his car. He was in
his car. Right. He was in his vehicle. And when they stopped him, he gave him the license, but they asked him to step out the car. Of course, he said, why? I didn't feel comfortable, because there's 4 cops. And some of those cops were black and some were white. But if you're a black man in America, you don't feel comfortable stepping out in the car. It don't matter what color the police are. Period.
Okay. So we've gone through third-degree murder. I'm going to just read the definition again. Third-degree murder can be defined as homicide. Oh, okay. And for people just joining us, the cop in question, he has been arrested. He is in custody, and he is being charged with third-degree murder. Now, third-degree murder is obviously lesser than second-degree murder, and obviously lesser than first-degree murder. So we're going through the definitions of murder. When I saw the third-degree murder thing, I thought, yeah, that's a cop-off. For third-degree murder, you can walk away with a slap on the wrist. That's what I know. I watch these American shows. I watch documentaries on American judiciary. So I know that you can walk away with a slap on the wrist for third-degree murder. You might not even have to do a day in jail for third-degree murder. You can go straight to probation. I've seen it happen. Okay, so the definition of third-degree murder can be defined as homicide committed with the intention of causing bodily harm, but not necessarily death. It can be a killing that results from indifference or negligence or recklessness. Statutes defining third-degree murder may vary considerably from state to state.
Okay. They're trying to say it was an accident, but this is the 10th time that this man has done something. He's been charged with something. 10.
Yeah.
Might have been the first time he murdered someone, but it's not the first time he was charged with, being too aggressive, police brutality, and all of that. So there's a pattern there with him, and now it comes to a head, right? And someone's life had to be lost, and they're still saying it was an accident. Okay?
Second degree murder is generally defined as intentional murder that lacks premeditation. Hold on. Let's read this carefully. Second degree murder is generally defined as intentional murder that lacks premeditation, is intended to only cause bodily harm and demonstrate an extreme indifference to human life. The exact legal definition of this crime will vary by jurisdiction to jurisdiction. Okay, so second degree murder is generally defined as intentional. Okay, so that's how he slips out. That's how he slips out of the second, because he's going to say he didn't intend to kill the man. Okay. So when you look at the definition, he's got wiggle room there. He can say, I didn't intend to kill him. And he can say, well, why would I kill somebody in that manner when there were people around? He's got wiggle room. He's got hella lot of wiggle room there. Troy Graham, you want to say something? Come in.
Yeah, I've been alive 49 years. I don't know one person who's murdered somebody else that said, yes, I actually meant to murder them. I know very few murderers who say, yes, I actually meant to murder them, unless they just off that frame of mind. He wouldn't come out and say, yes, I meant to murder him. And I meant to do it in plain sight. So it would look like an accident. Right. Yeah. He's going to say that. That's like me running you over with my car, and I say, oh, you know what? I didn't see that the light was red and that you were standing in front of me. That's why I hit you, and then I backed up. I was actually trying to help you when I backed up, but the car hit you again. I mean, stop it, man. Just
That's the definition of second-degree murder. He's going to have a strong argument. He's going to say, why would I try to kill someone with a crowd around, with people recording me? That's utterly ridiculous. That's what his lawyer, apparently he's got the lawyer, I forget the lawyer's name, but that lawyer got another cop off what everybody thought was a murder charge. So he's got this top lawyer who's good at this kind of thing. And I'm saying to you, the lawyer is going to suggest very strongly that no way in hell would he try to kill a man. If he wanted to kill that man, there's other ways he could do it. Now, why would he try to kill a man with a crowd? I'm looking at the opposite side. That's exactly what they're going to say. And it's a compelling argument. Even if he wanted to kill him, he's going to say, he's going to have a strong argument. He's going to say, why would I do it in front of people? That said, when you look at the strict definition of the terms, it seems to fit third degree more than it does second degree, and certainly more than it would first degree, which you're going to look at in a second. Personally, do you think he intended to kill the guy?
Absolutely. Anytime someone is telling you that I cannot breathe, and then he keeps the pressure, because you could feel the pressure that you're putting on someone's throat or neck. You can feel it. And why was your knee on his neck in the first place?
That's a great counter argument. Okay, so now that's good for me because I wanted to get first degree. So that's a great counter argument. The counter argument there to what I said earlier on is that why did you have your knee on his neck? That is not police procedure. That is not a police procedure. We don't teach that. That's not in the policeman's handbook. That has got nothing to do with policing. So that's a great counter argument. Why would you have your knee on his neck? The counter argument continues. Do you have knowledge of the body? You've been a police officer for 19 years. Do you have knowledge of the body, the anatomy? Yeah, you do, because you're a police officer. Yeah, you have to do first aid. Yeah, so you must have knowledge of anatomy. Is that correct, sir? Is that correct, officer? Yes, it's correct. Okay, so you know that there's a main vein in the neck which leads to the brain. Yeah, pumps blood to the brain. Yeah, what else does it pump to the brain, officer? Oxygen. Yeah, bingo. The blood, the oxygen is in the blood that it pumps into the head. Yeah. So when you kneel on the side of someone's neck, it's not an air choke. It's a blood choke. What we call in jiu-jitsu, the arterial choke. A vein or artery. A vein which leads into the head, the neck. The vein in the neck, big vein in the neck. You do realize, don't you, sir, when you kneel on someone's neck, when they're lying on their stomach, when they're handcuffed, they can't move, you got one knee in the back and one knee on the neck. And if you look very closely, my bad, I'll bring you in in a second, John. My bad. Let me get the picture up. We're not going to stay too long on this, but we do need to talk about it because there's been an update. Let me try and bring this thing up. Multitasking right here. Yeah, you do know, sir.
Right, you know, while you
do understand, don't you, sir, that when you kneel on the neck, you are cutting off blood to the brain. And in that blood is oxygen. So while you're not starving them, why you're not cutting off the air from the front you're cutting off the blood from the vein in the neck. And if you starve the brain of blood, you're also starving the brain of oxygen. Starve the brain of oxygen for around 2-3 minutes, and you put someone in a vegetative state. Starve them of brain to the blood for a few more minutes, and you've killed them. So you being a police officer for 19 going on 20 years, you would have knowledge of the anatomy, or else you shouldn't be in the job. You can do first aid. You know where the major veins and arteries are, or else you can't do first aid. Right. So that means I put it to you that the second degree, what is second degree now becomes, or what's third degree now becomes second or first degree. John Dealey, how do you do?
I wanted to say something before John comes on here, right? Yeah, you know, right. If Mr. Floyd was so much of a problem, there was 3 other officers around. They would have stepped in and helped him out. If that man was so much of a problem, it was a total of 4 police officers there. Notice that he was the only one that was doing the restraining, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other 4 officers were not. So obviously he couldn't have been that much of a problem for you to take his life. So he knew exactly what he was doing, and he knew that he could get off by saying, well, it was in plain sight and I had my fellow officers around. And he, of course, they're going to say that he, Mr. Floyd, he, what's the term they like to use? He resisted arrest. And I'm surprised they haven't thrown out the term yet. I was afraid for my life, even though he was flat on his face and handcuffed. Okay? There was 3 other grown men around that were police officers and trained like you. What were they doing? That was murder. Not third degree, that was murder.
John D. Lee.
Well,
no, can't hear you, John. I think you're on Bluetooth or something. You sound very distant.
Is that any better?
Little bit. Carry on, though. Yeah. Carry on. That's fine.
Okay. Well, there's been I don't know if you've seen what the Black American police officer had to say on this subject.
John, could you are you speaking into the mic or something? Because you sound very distant even now. You sound better
right,
there.
One second.
Yeah.
How's that, Rafi?
That's how it should be.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Have you guys seen what the Black American police officers said about this?
He said something. He's the enemy.
Well, what he said was he pointed out the duty of care a police officer has as a first responder.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, obviously, he's condemned the actions of this police officer.
Yeah.
But what he said is actually pretty significant about the actions of the other police officers.
Oh.
So they had a duty of care to administer aid to a man who was in a bad condition.
Oh.
They didn't attempt to give him CPR.
Wow.
Or resuscitate him at any stage.
Wow.
So they're also culpable. It isn't just Chavin, who's a serial offender of this type of behavior, but because they were failing in their duty to give aid, it doesn't matter if it's a criminal who has been shooting at the police and you've shot him, you should still administer aid to him.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, that's not the case in Mr. Floyd's situation.
No.
But that's just what they should have done.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes them all culpable within this.
Yeah.
As for the degree of murder, when you've got people filming you saying he can't breathe, get off him, and you continue, and you have all the knowledge that you've already described, it is the highest degree of murder that you could be charged for, and you should receive the maximum sentence, particularly because you're supposed to be a custodian of the law. You're supposed to uphold these laws, not just view that they don't apply to you because you know, we talked about the nature of the potential crime that he was alleged to have committed.
Yeah.
It is a very, very minor offence.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a non-violence offence as well.
$20. Yeah, allegedly it was a fake $20 bill that he tendered in a shop. They called the police. He waited around for the police to come, and you know, it was very peaceful. It was very peaceful. Handed over. He apparently was sitting in his car, John. I didn't know he had a car. He was sitting in his car. Handed over his license. Refused to leave his vehicle. I've just been told. They dragged him out of the vehicle and then cuffed him, handcuffed him.
Okay, so if you can physically drag someone out of a vehicle and handcuff them, why can't you put them on the back seat of the police car and drive to the station?
Yeah, simply done.
You know, if there is a case to answer and he should be charged, he should be treated like anybody else.
Yeah,
and that would involve, once the handcuffs are on, you put him in the car and you go to the station. You do not lean on the man's neck when he's on the floor for 8 minutes.
Well, the thing
that is an act of murder. There's no way around it.
Well, the thing I want you to notice here is his positioning against the car. So right here you can see he's
getting some extra leverage.
No, he's wedged up totally against the car. You can see that his shoulder is pressed up. You can see it's distorted. That means it's pressed up against the wheel of the police vehicle. So that means he's got no wiggle room. So he's got no wiggle room. He can't move. He can't alleviate the pressure on his neck. So this cop here, this whatever his name is, has maneuvered him.
Chavin's his name.
David Chavin has maneuvered him in such a position that he's wedged up against the vehicle. He has no room, no wiggle room whatsoever to alleviate his the pressure on his neck himself. He's got no wiggle room whatsoever. Look at the arm wedged up against that, and we've just been looking at the definition of Chavin's just been charged.
I know. I've heard what you said. I'm actually pretty disgusted because I mean, Troy won't know who this is, but there's a former soccer player, for the team that Ralphie and I support, who was a black football player who was killed by police officers with a taser in the UK. After a full investigation, he's been charged by the CPS with the maximum sentence. Well, maximum crime. He's going to go to court, but at least he's been charged with murder. We don't really have first, second, and third degree murder here, as far as I understand it to be. It could have been a sort of manslaughter type charge, or murder, which carries a life sentence, and that's what that police officer has been charged with. The judge also ruled that his name is going to be released to the press, which it has been, because they tried to keep it out of the press as well. Now, he needs to get the full sentence for it as well, for it to be a reasonable outcome, because we've got here a human being on film illegally killing another human being. That's murder. It's just that straightforward. And it's not like we don't have all the evidence anybody can possibly need. There's nothing justifiable. It doesn't matter if he resisted arrest. He had used necessary force once the handcuffs were on. At that stage, there is no need for any further force to be used.
And then
he wouldn't be dead. He'd be in a police cell, potentially for something that he hadn't done, but that would be the worst of it.
He was unarmed. The question was asked, was he armed? No, he was unarmed. It was peaceful. Troy Graham. Oh dear. Okay, so Maryland police officer charged with murder in the killing of handcuffed man. BBC News. Charged with third degree murder.
I'm still here, man. I'm still here.
Third degree murder sounds equivalent to our manslaughter charge, which is basically you can walk without going to prison.
Right.
You can walk away. You can walk away from a third degree murder charge. That's the point.
Yeah, and the point is this man needs to serve either life imprisonment or if they have the death penalty, then he should.
I don't
receive it.
I don't want him to get the death penalty because then he has an escape.
I
don't want him to
understand how you may feel about that, Troy, because he's going to be punished in prison. If he spends life in prison, his life in prison will be hell. So I understand why you may see that as a greater punishment.
And I just wanted to say this to I think Eddie Stavern was asking, was he armed? I already answered that question. I said he wasn't armed and he wasn't violent. And then I think it's Codmaster that's speaking, on segregation. No, that has nothing to do with this. It's not going to help anything. It's not going to help anything. And I think I explained that when I first got on here about the whole segregation thing. Okay. Let me just make something plain to you. I'm a firm believer is if you have 100 acres and you have a mansion, and you say to me, Troy, I'm going to give you a whole floor of my mansion, but I will tell you to take that and keep it. I'd rather live in my single family home here, which ain't much, but it's mine because I don't want to be under your thumb. You might have a huge table, right? And you could say, you can come eat off my table and all that. I don't want your crumbs. I'd rather build my own damn table and eat off that table. Sure, it's going to be smaller than yours, but I don't want anything from you that I can't get on my own first. Because if I do that, then you will always have me up under your thumb. And I'm never going to be under anyone's thumb or a leash or be on anyone's leash like some dog. Okay? No. I would take less. Let me finish. I would take less for my freedom, right? Than actually take more to actually be under somebody's thumb. Okay?
Troy, you know what you were saying about not spending in white establishments in America? From my point of view as a white person in the UK, I feel that that's totally justified because you have to do whatever you can do to try and get justice. And if that works, then it should be done. There's no point trying to sit here in the UK or not in America as white people and be telling you guys how to fight your fight that you've been fighting for more than 60 years. And it's still going on. Well, the civil rights movement, I mean, prior to that, there wasn't the movement, was there? I mean, whatever you want to date it as, however you want to date it, whatever you can do to get results is what you should do. I mean, what you're suggesting is a non-violent means of action.
Exactly. It's not hurting anybody.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't have an issue with that. What I do think is it's actually on the white people to sort out their racism in America and put this man and take responsibility for what's going on. Okay. I'm going to jump in here and say something. This really is not a black and white issue. This is an evil issue because let me explain something to you. There's no way in this country, and it's a fact in this country that blacks can get anything done without whites that actually have whites that want to help them. And there's nothing that whites could get done without blacks that want to help them. So what they feed us in the media and every day is black and white. No, it's not black and white. It's evil, and it all starts with class. And guess what else? It starts with economics. That's who you fight. You can't fight black and white because at the end of the day, you'll never know who you're actually fighting. Okay, I'll rephrase that to make it clear.
Okay, I just want to step in. Remember your word, John Daly. I just want to step in to clarify. I just want to step in to clarify some questions that I've been reading in the chat. What the hell is happening there? What happened? Oh, should have pressed that instead. Okay, so I just want to clarify some things I just read in the chat. Okay, so the guy was unarmed. He was sitting in his car. He's waiting in his car. Police came, asked him for his license. He gave him his license. Said, "Can you come out of the car?" Didn't see any reason to come out of the car. But anyway, apparently Troy told me they dragged him out of the car. I didn't know that. So they've got him out of the car now. Fine. And he's handcuffed. Fine. So now why didn't they put him in their car? So effectively, the cop was kneeling on his neck for 8 to 9 minutes on the floor instead of putting him in their car. My friends, that is murder to me. Back to you, John Daly.
Yeah. So maybe the choice of words I was using was the wrong choice of words. My point was really directed at the elite, the establishment. They're the ones who need to take responsibility for this. He's an officer of the law, which means he has a responsibility to uphold that law and be whiter than white and cleaner than clean. I think Troy said he got 12 previous police brutality charges. Did you say 10? Because I believe it's 12.
Yeah, 10.
I think it's actually
10.
12, Troy. I saw on social media today he got 12 charges of police brutality.
12?
12.
Okay.
So the point about it is he isn't fit to be a policeman. The policemen need to be held to a greater level of account than the Joe public because they're entrusted with upholding the law. And this man has serially, on a continuous basis, broken that. He's broken the people's trust. So it's the role of the establishment to punish him accordingly and make an example of him. And that's who I was referring to, really. Maybe white America's a poor choice of words. And it's better to say the ruling elite, the establishment, the people who are responsible for these laws. They're the ones who should be holding him to account and giving him the maximum sentence.
Yeah. You don't need to pin someone down by the neck, says the card master. No, it's actually not a police tactic. It's not a police trained tactic. They don't learn that in training school. So there's an argument to say that is an unauthorized move. At the very least, it's not recommended. Like I say, I'm looking at first degree murder. We're going to have to go to the definition of first degree murder very shortly. But there's masses of comments, and I want to give everybody a chance to have their say. Eddie Staverne's been saying some things like he could have had a gun. No, he was cuffed. He was taken out of the car and cuffed, and the policeman had his knee rested on his neck, exerting pressure on his neck for 8 to 9 minutes.
You know the guys, the white kids that did all the mass shootings in America? When they got arrested, they were sat there given water. They weren't restrained.
Yeah,
these are people that had killed between them 36 people.
There's a picture of that.
They haven't got police officers leaning on their necks when they're handcuffed.
No, they don't.
So Eddie Staverne, those are the facts. This isn't a dangerous man. And when they've had dangerous white people that are mass murderers in one sitting, they haven't behaved in the same way.
That's true.
You just got to stop denying it.
There's a picture of those killers you just talked about, those young white boys, and they after their arrest, and they all look like they've just come from a slumber party. There's not a scratch. There's not a scratch on them. But when the races are different, then I'm afraid they look very, very different. They look very, very different when they get into the station. Very, very different indeed. Highly unfortunate. Highly unfortunate. I just want to still crack on with these comments.
Yeah. I'm still here, brothers. I'm just being quiet, man. I'm letting my passion go down some. I'm still here.
Hands in his pockets, full weight. He knew what he was doing. Eddie Staverne says Floyd was huge. I've seen another comment which I cannot substantiate. I think it was by Gucci Kid. He said that this guy, George Floyd, worked security. You see, there's a lot of crap being spoken about George Floyd. Somebody earlier on said he was homeless. Now I found out he had a car. It's very rare a homeless person has a car. And now I find out that he may have been a security guy. Eddie Staverne said he was huge. Gucci Kid said he worked security and may have worked security with the police officer. I haven't seen that written down yet, so I'm not going to go down that route if they actually knew each other. I'm not going to go down that route until I see it written down. I ain't seen it written down nowhere. Not to say it ain't true. Not to say it is. Knee on the neck, definitely not in the handbook. Most certainly not. His knee was supposed to be on his shoulders, if on him at all. Absolutely. Eddie Stavern is coming with, what is he coming with? The dude was fighting back. He must have been. Watch the video. Watch the video.
It's all there.
Videos. There's multiple videos from multiple angles. There ain't no fighting back.
I have to answer this guy right here. I have to answer him if you don't mind, right?
Carry on.
I have to answer him. Eddie Stavern, do yourself a favor. There's this thing called Google. Jump on there. You could get all the information you want instead of guessworking. Because it seems like you're trying to justify this man's death, and you're really getting on my nerves. But it seems like you're actually trying to justify his death, and you're trying to say the police was right. So to save you the embarrassment of you being a fool, just go to Google and get all your information and stop putting things out in the universe that you don't know about. That's really not difficult. It just takes fingers. Yeah, that's all it takes. Fingers in a few minutes.
Eddie Stavern, I recommend you're saying a lot of things which are contrary to what we've seen. There's video out there. There's much video out there. Eddie Stavern, I recommend you go to and Google George Floyd murder. Go Google and video. All right, and you'll see the video from multiple different angles. You see the video from the shop. You'll see the video of people standing by, watching him lose his life, and asking and telling the officer that he can't breathe multiple times, that he's killing me multiple times, and the officer just stayed on his neck and murdered him in broad daylight. I recommend you go do that. I recommend you go do that because you left some comments in the comment section which were very much contrary to the evidence, the video evidence that's out there. So I recommend you do that.
It's not even, is it been a full month since we've had to talk about this topic, Rafi?
I don't even know if it's been a month. So
it's people like Eddie Stavern denying it. They're allowing it to happen.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Kind of. Yeah. Because you're not even doing the research, Eddie. You're not even doing your research.
If it's getting properly condemned,
yeah.
How long has it taken in this country for police officers to actually get charged with murder for this sort of behaviour?
Many years.
I think Daly and Atkinson's actually the first one, and I don't know if they're going to get convicted of it. And they're just getting charged with it.
Yeah.
And the denial of it by society is facilitating this type of behavior. Because the only way you hold these people to account is the court of public opinion, because the elected officials realize that they need to act. And just saying it's okay. It's like, Eddie, you're embarrassing yourself.
How is having your body weight on your knee on someone's neck for 8 to 9 minutes with them telling you that you're killing me? I can't breathe. You're killing me. How is that not murder?
Well, the thing is, he's in handcuffs. There are 4 policemen. If he's resisting arrest, they can put him into the car between them. There's 4 of them there. If he should be arrested, arrest him and take him to the police station and hold him to account for whatever crime he may have committed. You don't kill him before he gets there. There's no proof he's actually committed this crime. None. There's a due process.
Yeah.
And that isn't the police killing people in the street.
Right. Yeah.
I got to ask for you, Ralphie. I don't know if he'll do it or not, or I don't know if you're going to do it or not, but why don't you just ask him to come on real quick, because I'm sick of his typing.
Yeah.
Eddie Stavern.
I'll drop the link. Paste. What? That's not the link. That's not the link. Let me drop the link. Boom, 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 boom. Link is in the chat. For those who want the link, boom, there it is. Read the link I posted in the chat. It's a police murder that didn't get on TV. Yeah, if this wasn't filmed, then we wouldn't be talking about it right now. It's just being swept under the rug like all the others. Fans on YouTube say to keep the foot on the neck, you could have been YouTube trained.
The fundamental point is, if you need to arrest a guy who's resisting arrest, you're supposed to use the minimal amount of force.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't result in murder. And when there's 4 of them, 4 police officers, and the man is in handcuffs, he explained to me how it's impossible to put him on the back seat of the police car. Once he's there, he can't get out.
It's
you take him to the police station,
and
you charge him if that is, justified.
Mm-hmm.
That's simple. Everyone's entitled to a due process. When you've got white kids in America getting guns, going to schools and shooting people, they manage to get to the police station and get charged for their crimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Eddie Stavern says they should have maced him. Maybe mace him for what?
Why don't you just come on, Eddie? Why don't you just click the link and come on and stop typing?
But mace him for what, though? I don't understand. Mace him for what? The point that we're trying to say is that he did not resist arrest.
If there was any type of resisting, he's already got the handcuffs on. He's now not in a position to resist any further. And your job is to put him in the car and take him to the police station. That's your job as a police officer. And then the people at the police station will decide if there's a charge for him to answer. It's that simple. And this is like a really petty crime. It's a fake $20 note. What's that, £15 in English money, or 18 quid or something?
Yeah, 18 quid.
Okay, if that's a crime that he's committed, he should be punished for that. But that type of punishment is, in this country, would just be a bit of community service, possibly a caution.
Police have 24 hours abuse. They are humans too, with families, says Eddie Hearn. Are we talking about the police, or are we talking about the victim of the police? What are we talking about?
This is ridiculous. Police officers have condemned this behavior because they haven't followed their own rules. I don't see at what point we're condemning the police. We're saying that if there's a charge to answer, arrest him and take him to the police station.
I'll say no way you're proving second degree. No way you're proving second degree murder, Rafi. He could just say, I didn't realize my knee was cutting off his artery. Well, I don't see how you can have 20 years, 19 years of service and not know anatomy.
Also, as a first responder, you have a duty of care to administer aid. If someone is telling you they can't breathe and they have handcuffs on, you should check to see if they can breathe. You don't just keep kneeling on there for another 4 minutes after he passed out. He was on him for 8 minutes. He passed out after about 4.
Yeah.
So what are you on about? What are you actually saying? I don't understand this. They're just trying to justify his actions. We need a police force. We also need a police force who behave appropriately within the rules, not people that just take the matter into their own hands.
Right. And also, let me say this. I'm not trying to bring down the police. I have two brothers that are on the police force, and I have one brother that was actually murdered by the police. So I actually come from both sides of it. So I don't want to hear that we're being too hard on the police, because I can tell you what police are: humans, which means they react the same way we do. In some cases, a badge and a gun will empower you. And in some cases, a badge and a gun will let you know that you have enough power to really calm yourself down and focus. Eddie
Stavern just said, is that a real picture of his? What do you mean? Is it real? What is it? Something? Am I living in a parallel? That's the cop right there. That's the cop, the guy who killed him, and that's the guy down there who died. Yeah, and that's the knee that killed him.
Okay,
with the weight bearing the weight of the cop that killed him.
Okay,
that's the cop.
Okay,
there's the guy who died, George Floyd. Let me see. What's the disconnect? What's the disconnect here?
Let me put this out there, and I'm gonna put it 100% on me. What I'm about to say has nothing to do with combat radio. It's all on Troy Graham. You're a coward. You're a coward, Eddie. I told Ralphie, put the link in the thing. You're a coward, and you're an agitating coward. because you don't really want anything. You just want to agitate. Well, congratulations. I'm agitated by a coward. You don't want to know the facts. You don't want anything. You simply want to agitate, but you don't have the balls to step up in here and have a real conversation. So you're going to keep throwing out these comments, and I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to mute myself so I can cuss.
I've put in the chat a link to the British Guardian article that goes through the facts for you, Eddie. Read it before you continue to make a fool of yourself. That's what the British media is saying about this incident after they have got all of the facts.
I might open up a few of those articles in a second. Eddie Stavern says, then if that's it, then I change my view. If that's the real picture, that's not good. I see now why people are angry. Okay, so maybe Eddie Stavern is maybe seeing the light. I don't know.
You're doing the good work, Rafi.
Doing the Lord's work.
You are.
Other cops plead in the fifth. They took him in to protect him. He's in jail now, I think. He's in jail now. Rioters are not.
They need to go to jail too.
Rioters are not protesters. Yo, without the riots and without the protesting, I'm not down with rioting, but without the protesting, then maybe he wouldn't be in jail right now. Maybe he wouldn't be in jail right now.
Well, and Eddie, there's the full video. It's not just a Snapchat.
Yeah,
it's all there.
Yeah, that is murder. He's on the floor, cuffed, says Eddie Stavern. Eddie Stavern goes on to say, well, I'm man enough to say I changed my view. That's definitely murder, 100%.
Thank you, Eddie.
Thank you, Eddie, for having a bit of common sense, Eddie. Marla says, first and second degree murder will not be proven in court, and the authorities who are charging know it. That's an interesting view. It's an interesting view.
If this goes to a jury trial,
yeah,
I don't fancy his chances of getting off when they watch that video, Marla. They've got the whole video. He passes out and he keeps his neck on him for another 4 minutes.
That's murder.
What else is it?
That's murder.
It doesn't. Yeah, but you know what? It does not matter, sir. I'm gonna tell you. I've lived here. I grew up here in America, and they could have video of there was a guy that was on the floor, on the ground. He was a counselor. He called the police because one of his students was off his meds. He did not want them to shoot the student. He simply wanted them to, to hold the student down, right?
Hold on. They shot him. They shot the teacher.
They shot him while he had his hands up saying, I'm the one that called you.
I saw that.
And they said they feared for their life with a man flat on his stomach, his hands clearly in plain sight.
Yeah.
And he was saying, I called you. Okay? So this video doesn't matter. It would matter if the cop was black and the man who got killed was white. That's when it matters.
That would be a different scene altogether. That cop would be going to jail, no problem. First degree. Boom. Boom.
The other police officers might have shot him, Raph.
He got shot up.
Let's be honest. Let's just prove it how it is.
It's true. It's true. It's true. It's not a lie. It's true. It's true. We're going to be moving on to the classic fight after this. Don't fear not, fear not, fear not, fear not. I've done 2 shows on the same topic. I've got how long we got it. We're an hour into this. I didn't mean it to last so long, but hey, we got to talk about what we got to talk about. We had to talk about this. Well, we didn't have to, but I chose to. You see, ladies and gentlemen, I speak about the things that I see, that I observe, that I ruminate, think about. And this is one of the things that came into my consciousness. I don't watch the news, but social media brought this to me. And saw the clip, saw the video, and I thought, there's no way I'm not going to talk about this. Some people try to tell you, oh, you're this kind of channel, or you're that kind of channel. I talk about whatsoever I want to talk about. All right, about now, I want to talk about this, and clearly other people want to talk about this. That's why we're talking about it.
Yeah, I appreciate you for it, man. I got to vent a little bit. That's only a little venting. That's not a lot. But thank you
Well,
anyhow.
Well, that's
And-
Raphael Dawkins Combat Radio. We give the opportunity for people to vent.
And we've managed to at least change one person's mind about the incident.
Well, the thing is, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Everybody's going to have different opinions, different slants, see it different ways, and that's fine. But please do the research at least, or listen to what the research that we have done before you cast aspersions on a dead man. That's
I'm
all.
struggling to see a different view, Rafi.
Well,
it's too big,
but there's insanity exists though. Insanity exists. There's levels of sanity and levels of insanity, and when you move from sanity to insanity, then varying, and you could have somebody with the exact opposite opinion that which you and Troy have said.
Well, I understand people supporting the police. That's fine. We need the police.
We need
them.
them.
But what we need from the police is for them to be.
We need a fair police.
Well, we need them to be the best behaved people out there because they're upholding the law. That's what we need. So if they break those rules, they need to be held to account more than anybody else.
Yeah. Well, you see, I want to address Marla. You see, I appreciate Marla because he speaks what he sees and what he feels in from the heart, and I appreciate that. But I just like to come in, and I appreciate your points. I just like to come in and say, you see, Eddie, it's not first degree because the courts can't prove he cut the blood supply off intentionally. I put it to you, Marla, that when the guy's passed out and at death's door appears to be dead to the onlookers, and the cup remains in place and doesn't administer, doesn't check on him, doesn't check on his well-being, he stopped moving, he appears to be unconscious and stays on him for a further 4 minutes. I put it to you, Marla, that's a clear-cut case of murder.
So if you put your hands around someone's neck and hold it until they pass out and they die, that isn't first-degree murder. What's the reasoning behind that? Is that because you haven't shot them with a gun?
Well,
I mean, it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing. The knee is the same as the hand. The knee is the same as the hand. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, because it's the fact that he passed out. So a police officer's job when someone passes out is to resuscitate and revive them, particularly when they're in handcuffs.
Yeah,
it's no danger to anybody.
Yeah,
and that's his responsibility.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he showed a complete disregard for life, and I don't see how else you can interpret that. I just don't see how it's manslaughter.
Yeah.
If it happened after 30 seconds, then he may get off with that. But this isn't. It's like 8 minutes.
Yeah.
That was murder. And why did they need him to get out the car if he gave his ID? Why?
Well, Troy, let's say there was enough evidence to arrest him. Yeah. It still doesn't make any difference. Once he's in handcuffs, 4 of them can get him into a car, can't they? There's just no need to put him on the floor.
Yeah. You could just throw him in the back of the police car.
That's my point. You've got him in cuffs
and checked out his story. Yeah,
exactly.
And then he would have won about doing your police work and find out if this was the man who was passing the fake 20s. He's not going anywhere.
Well, exactly. You've got him in the back of the car, and then if you need to take him to the police station and charge him, you'd go and do your job properly.
Philip Carl Roberts makes a good point. He could serve 25-year max. What's the minimum? 25 years for third degree? I find it highly unlikely. I'll research it in a second. What's the minimum? The minimum relocation scheme, probably the minimum is a slap on the wrist and off you go, probation. 6-month probation, 1 year probation. You could walk out with probation. I've seen a dirty cop from New York, and what was his punishment? He'd been running pretty much a racketeer. He'd been running a robbery thing, a robbery scheme. It was on some confiscation team, and if anyone was proven to be a drug dealer, they could confiscate their property, the property that they felt was gained through drug money. So there's this popular clip, popular thing on YouTube, video on YouTube, It's shot live. It's their own camera. They had a camera crew with them or something. No. It was their own footage. But they didn't realize, because this guy had a home studio, and they walked in the guy's home studio and they didn't realize that the mics were hot, i.e. active and recording. And you heard these underlings saying, "Oh damn, Troy, not Troy, whatever his name is, such and such, Dave is gonna have those drums. Dave's gonna want that. Dave's gonna want that." And they basically would take confiscating things from people and divvying it up between themselves. This group of detectives in New York, divvying it up amongst themselves. It's a recent case, and
there's nothing new.
Whatever they didn't want, they would take into the precinct in storage. Whatever they wanted, they kept. They kept speedboats. They kept cars. They were basically just going from suspect to suspect, robbing them for a period of something like 9 years. And you know what the sentence this guy got? You know what the sentence this guy got? He got something like a year with only 1 month to serve. Like 1 month to serve and about 6 months probation.
Ralphie, I'm gonna tell you something. That's actually not anything new, because in Florida a few years ago, they caught the weed king, the big guy, real big weed king of Florida, and they said it was the biggest bust in Florida. He had $30 million, right? And live on camera, the guy was like, 30. I have $60 million. Where's the rest of my money? So where's the other 30 at, Ralphie? Where is it?
Where's the rest of his money? Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, they're thieves. That's what thieves do. They steal. That's what thieves do. They steal. They're thieves. Okay, excuse me. I'm trying to get through this chat. The chat is super active. Thank you very much. We're going to get out of this. We're going to get off this topic and get into another topic I predict in about 5 minutes or so, but I really want to get through this. It's clearly a hot button topic. People are talking about it. I need to go over. What am I looking at? Let me show the definition of second degree murder again. Damn, it's a lot of press, a lot of button pressing going on. Stop sharing that and start sharing. What do I want to share? Where is that thing that I want to show? Boom. Okay, so to be clear, let's cut the music and let's listen to this prosecutor guy. Bear in mind, this prosecutor guy is a dodgy guy already. I think this prosecutor guy said, what is he? What's his role? This prosecutor said that he didn't, a day or two before, he didn't see any prosecution for this guy. Allegedly, that's what he said. And now saying something different. Take a look. Take a listen.
Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin is in custody. Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin has been charged by the Hennepin County Attorney's Office with murder and with manslaughter. He has been charged with third-degree murder. We are in the process of continuing to review the evidence. There may be subsequent charges later. I failed to share with you a detailed complaint will be made available to you this afternoon. I didn't want to wait any longer to share the news that he's in custody and has been charged with murder. We have evidence. We have the citizens' cameras, video, the horrible, horrific, terrible things we've all seen over and over again. We have the officer's body-worn camera. We have statements from some witnesses. We have a preliminary report from the medical examiner. We have discussions with an expert. All of that has come together. So we felt in our professional judgment, it was time to charge, and we have so done.
Okay, now people have, I think numerous people have posted up links in the chat. I'm not going to get to those links in this show. Otherwise, it'll be two hours on the same subject, same topic. We could do that, but I don't want to do that because I did a previous show. So anybody wanting any extra information on that can go view the previous show later on. Marla's made some great points. So what I'm saying to people who put links in, what I'm saying to you, everybody who put links in that I'm not going to get to because it'll take us over. I'll cut into the time watching a classic fight. So what I suggest everybody who did that do, I suggest you put it in the permanent chat at the bottom of the video rather than this moving chat here. I don't know different terms. Don't know how to separate them. You know the permanent chat on the left. We're in the chat on the right now. So post your links in the chat on the left. It's not going to show up. It's going to go for what do you call it? It's going to go to a file, backstage file, where I have to approve it. I will approve those links, and then boom, it'll be in there for everyone to have a gander at their leisure. At their leisure. But I really want to get to the end of this chat because it's very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Red Glove Militant is in the area. Lisa Bayliss is up in the area. Freddie Mars is up in the area. Okay, so we got plenty of people joining us. Damn, maybe I should move this thing. Where are we? What is sharing? I'm sharing that. Okay, let me come out to that. Where are we going now? Damn, screen's too big. Red Glove Militant. Can you see that? Red Glove Militant posted up that we are live. Let me give that a live like and mucho grazie. Grazie. There's a G. Try R. Hey, it worked. No, it didn't. No, I'm leaving it grazie. That looks okay to me. Okay. Let's go and share some images. Let's get this smaller. And let's go to my profiles. What have I liked? We'll be able to find. There he is. Killer Cop. There he is. There he is. Without care in the world, whilst he's killing someone beneath his knee. And this is a member of the public. With the camera phones, video phones. It's revolutionizing the world. Police station up in flames, laying off fireworks. I don't approve of the rioting. But I do approve of peaceful protests. But burning the precinct, is this the precinct? The third precinct was burnt down. Maybe that's a bit of people power. Maybe burning down the precinct, the police precinct, maybe that's what they need to literally put a fire up under their asses so they can stop murdering people, unarmed people. Stop murdering people once they're in handcuffs. Stop murdering people. Stop murdering American people, regardless of color, race, or creed. See a lady here.
I mean, that's just a hit and run.
That's hit and run. That's just hit and run. That's it.
You know, she got past them all.
She got past the guy. Turn back.
Turn back to get him.
Run him over.
and then drove off.
I wish I was in position to do something to that car.
Well, I would have thought a few people photographed the number plate.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see if they actually do anything.
Well, don't like to still swear, but I have to say, biatch. That was a biatch move. Let's look at the police. Yeah, drop the link in the permanent chat, Marla, if it's there, and in this chat and in the permanent chat, so people can go back and check it out at their leisure. Okay, so I think you get the picture. I think we're wrapping up this topic now. I think we've covered it comprehensively and extensively. Of course, we're talking about the murder. We're going to be getting into a classic fight shortly, very, very shortly. But had to cover this. Had to cover this moment of silence for George Floyd, murdered by a Minnesota cop. Dave Chauncey. And I think Ma makes a good point there. Close to 400 whites were killed by police last year, approximately 1,000 police killings. The police don't discriminate when it comes to killing. I think they clearly do discriminate when it comes to killing. They can only kill a small percentage of white folk in relation to the percentage of Black Americans. You can say there's more. You could say, well, percentage-wise, Black Americans are involved in more criminality percentage-wise than white Americans. You may say that. I don't know the percentages, but regardless of the color of the person being killed, nobody deserves to be killed when they're handcuffed. They're not resisted, regardless of the race, color, creed, or gender. So I'm not really sure about this, the race narrative. Not sure about the race narrative. The point is, forget about the race and think about somebody, an innocent man, being murdered in broad daylight. Totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. Cardmaster, I think you should forget about that. I think we're talking at cross purposes. We explained something that you say you were saying anyway, so that's fine. There ain't no problem. There ain't no issues. Police most certainly discriminate, and I'm a white guy from the UK, and I see it. But in America, it's a whole different level. It's like racism central. Absolutely. 100% AD up in the building. I've seen the video now. It's unreal. Let's watch a fight. Yeah, we're head into a fight in the next 5 minutes. I think we've chopped this up nicely and comprehensively, and given the man his respect. And yeah, I think police most certainly do discriminate, but like AD said it best. But in America, it's on like an industrial level. It's like it's permitted. You know what I'm saying? And that guy who killed Ahmad Aubrey, that police officer, you know, remember? His son killed him. His son killed Ahmad Aubrey. The father was a police officer, and there's pictures of him at far right rallies dressed up in the full regalia. So he's a far right extremist. And then yeah, well, there's more about him. But he's a whole different show.
All right, come on, I'm ready. Yeah, kicked out again. I need a laptop.
Right, Doctor is in the building. How you doing, Fight Doctor?
What's up, Fight Doctor?
What's going on, gentlemen?
What kind of status you on today?
On Rick James status as always.
Okay. There's been another murder in America by cops.
So, listen, this country has a long history of lynching Black men.
Mm-hmm.
That's been a constant since we got here.
Yeah.
Look, before there was an America, Black men were being lynched on the regular. And that proud tradition continues unabated.
Mm-hmm.
And it's ridiculous. And anyone who's part of the "There's No Racism in America" crowd really needs to wake up. Okay? I don't understand. Here's my question for the people who are in the "There Is No Racism in America" crowd. If that were true, then what benefit do Black people get from constantly complaining about something which does not exist? I don't get it.
Maybe you're delusional.
Yeah, I don't know. But me personally, I see no benefit in people complaining about something which doesn't exist. Okay, especially, listen, and it's not that it's just like poor Black people complain about racism. The poorest to the richest and everyone in between in the Black community complain about the same problem in unison. All right? Who's the guy who owns, there's a guy who owns a broadcasting company. He's a Black guy. What's his name? I can't remember his name. He's recently sued NBC or Comcast.
Okay.
His name escapes me at the moment. But here's a guy who is part of that 1%.
Mm-hmm.
And he's suing Comcast NBC over racial issues. So apparently this guy understands and believes that race is an issue in this country and that racism exists. And he's a rich guy.
Yeah.
If we're going to talk about percentages or being indiscriminate, though, the ethnic makeup of America is 72.4% white and 12.6% Black, according to the last official census. So if 1,000 people get killed, for it to be an even ratio, it should be 720 white people and 120 Black people. That isn't the ratio. So there's clear discrimination. That's indiscriminate killing. Just because there's more white people being killed numerically, it's not representative of the ethnic makeup of the country. It's a lot lower though, compared to the actual populations.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've put a link to those demographics in the chat so everyone can check it out for themselves.
Have you put it in the permanent chat though? Is it permanent chat available yet?
I can put it in later, Raph.
Okay. Good stuff.
Because, you know, if you just look at the straight number, that's one thing. But you have to take into account the actual percentage that that ethnic group makes up with the population. Or it doesn't count, basically.
Yeah. Well, Desi makes a good point. Gabriel makes a good point. He says first degree. First degree says it was planned out ahead of time. We'll go to the definition of that. We'll go to the definition of that right now, and then we're gonna go into the boxing. Second degree is intentional but not planned in advance.
Right. You know, just to let you know, we only make up 12% of this country, 12 to 13%. Those are the numbers.
I've put a link to the demographics in the chat, Troy, so people can see that those are the correct numbers. It's 12.6% are black, 72.4% are white. So it has to be proportionately representative to not be a racist, disproportionate number.
Okay, so we've got. I think we got the definition of. We've gone through the definition of first degree. We've gone through the definition of second degree. And let me share that again. And now we're going to go to the definition of first degree. Let me read the second degree for you. Second degree murder is generally defined as intentional murder that lacks premeditation. It's intended to only cause bodily harm and demonstrates an extreme indifference to human life. The exact legal definition of this crime will vary by jurisdiction to jurisdiction. So, to be clear, second degree murder is generally defined as intentional murder that lacks premeditation. Okay, so it's unpremeditated murder. Is intended only to cause bodily harm and demonstrate an extreme indifference to human life. So yeah, it's second degree murder to first degree murder. Let's have a look at what first degree murder is. Let's have a look at the definition of first degree murder in the USA. First degree. First degree. Where's the definition? Why did it all change? Why did it change? Why did it change? First degree murder, USA. Changed all of a sudden. It switched up. I went first and it was cool. First degree murder overview. I don't even know if that was what I was looking at. Looks like it's more lengthy. No. Damn it. I'm going to have to reduce my screen so I can see all of the options. Okay, so now we're... Okay, let me get this up larger so you can read along with me. Okay. In most states, what was he going to say, Troy? What was he going to say, Troy?
I had a question for John because where's he located? Like, in which country is he located?
I live in the same city as Ralphie in Birmingham in the UK.
Okay, yeah, because I was just curious if something like this happened over there, how would the situation be handled?
Right. So
hold on, John. Hold on.
I'll post it in the chat, Raph, anyway, so you can read the article.
Okay. So first degree murder overview. In most states, first degree murder is defined as unlawful killing that is both willful and premeditated, meaning that it was committed after planning or laying in wait for the victim. Read that again. In most states, first degree murder is defined as unlawful killing that is both willful and premeditated. It was certainly willful, but was it premeditated? I don't know. Meaning that it was committed after planning or laying in wait for the victim. For example, Dan comes home to find his wife in bed, Victor. 3 days later, Dan waits behind a tree near Victor's front door. When Victor comes out of his house, Dan shoots and kills him. Most states also adhere to the legal concept known as felony murder rule. under which a person commits first-degree murder if any death, even an accidental one, results from the commission of certain violent felonies such as arson, burglary, kidnapping, rape, and robbery. Most states adhere to a legal concept as a felony murder rule, under which a person commits first-degree murder if any death, even an accidental one, results from the commission of certain violent. I'll get it now. So if anybody's who's doing an arson kills somebody, that's first degree, or can be. Anybody doing a burglary kills somebody and they kill somebody, first degree, or can be. Anybody doing a kidnapping and they accidentally kill somebody, but it's in the commission of a felony, then that's murder, or can be. Rape, unintentional murder during rape, murder, first degree, or can be. Robbery, accidentally kill someone while he's committing a robbery, that can be deemed as first degree. Can be deemed, is first degree, or can be. Okay, so if you want to go ahead and answer Troy's question now, I've got it off now. You can answer Troy's question, John.
Well, the most recent case that's similar was what I was talking about before. A guy called Dalian Atkinson, who was actually a former professional soccer player. Mm-hmm. He was tasered because our police officers don't carry guns.
Yeah.
He was tasered and that killed him. That police officer has been charged with murder. It took a full investigation for that to happen. And it hasn't gone to trial yet. It's set for trial for September this year. But we don't know if that's definitely going to happen because of COVID. So there's no actual jury. It's going to go before a jury. So there's progress. But in terms of numbers of killings, there have only been 2 killings by the police force of people this year. Because I think our police is still racist, but they don't walk around with guns. So it makes a huge difference.
Massive difference.
That's the thing that makes the biggest difference. So I think there's still a disproportionate number of non-white people killed by the police in the UK. But in total, this year, there's been 2. Last year, killings by police officers, there were 3. In 2018, there was 1. So I think the biggest difference is we don't arm our police. So what tends to happen is people who have been victims of racial-based police brutality tend to get beaten up as opposed to murdered. So there's still I don't think we've solved our problems. I think we have made progress here. The fact that the murder charge that he has here, we don't have these. I don't believe we have these 3 degrees of murder. You'd get a manslaughter charge. Here. If it was you were doing something dangerous that had resulted in a death, but you didn't intend to murder him. So he has been charged with the full weight of the law. But we don't know what the outcome's going to be yet. He could still he could end up pleading for manslaughter and not going to prison. So we'll see. But I wouldn't say anywhere's perfect. The best thing about this country is the fact that police don't have guns in the first place. The criminals don't really have much in the way of guns here either, because you get a very, very serious offence if you're caught in possession of a weapon. I think you can go to prison for life just for having it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's probably the best thing.
Yeah.
I've put an article in the chat for you, Troy, to see that the guy has been charged. It's actually going to the Crown Court in our city in Birmingham.
Okay.
Yeah.
He actually played football for the team that both me and Ralphie supported.
Yeah. So I've met him a few times out in Clubland. I didn't know him, didn't speak to him. Might be all right. How's he going? Blah blah blah. But that was that. But that was that. Okay. So, is there anything else I want to say? Yeah. There's a good point. There's some good points made all around. Marla makes a good point, says they have charged him with third-degree murder to guarantee a conviction. The video alone is no guarantee. That was proven with Rodney King. Rodney King riots, we all remember those after the acquittals of those wicked men with badges. Okay, and Philip Carl Roberts makes a great point. Lots of great points made by lots of people. Philip Carl Roberts makes a point that I echo. In that 8 minutes where he was kneeling on the man's neck with his body weight, there was a point where things changed from Floyd being conscious to unconscious. And he kept his foot on the man's neck, his knee on the neck. How far ahead does it have to be for it to be premeditated? Well, I put it to you, as soon as he starts looking down at him, because the demeanor of the guy, what's his name? We're switching now, folks, after I make this point. The demeanor of the guy. Let me just get his image up. Let me get the image of the beast. Let's get the image of the beast. Okay, there he is. There he is. His demeanor changed at some point. Some point his demeanor changed. At a certain point, you could see him smiling happily. A little smug look on his face. Deserves to be beheaded.
He's looking.
What?
He's looking right at him. He's looking right at the man.
Yeah. So his demeanor changes, and he's doing more looking down at the guy. At this point, the guy, it seems, is already passed out. That's what it looked like to the cameras. Passed out, but he kept his neck on his knee on his neck. So at what point, after the man passes out and you keep your knee on his neck, at what point does it become premeditated? Let me have a look down, blocking the whole damn thing. At what point does it become premeditated? Is it not murder from that point forth? It's a very, very interesting point. It's a very, very interesting point. Okay, so indeed, that has to be speculated. It seems to have put a lot of lead on black people and Latino people. So he certainly, I wouldn't be surprised if there are pictures of him at rallies in his far right regalia. It would not surprise me one tiny little bit. Certainly the man's got a problem. Certainly he's got a problem. Very casual, very, very, very casual murder of a casual nature. And yeah, so it's like that. But let's go around the table. Let's go around the table and let people say what they need to say. Say what they need to say before we move on into the fight. Okay, take it away.
All right, well, I'll jump up. You said something I appreciate. You said it was very casual murder, and any good lawyer could actually use that, what you just said. Because if you look at that picture, he's looking down at him like he doesn't have a care in the world.
Doesn't have a care in the world.
And the other three officers are nowhere in sight holding this man down who was giving him so much trouble, who was so threatening, right? So when you look at his demeanor, this is not something brand new to him. He's done this before.
His record suggests that.
Yeah, he may not have killed anyone before, but he has done this before. That's why he's so casual. And the difference is that this time he wanted to make a point to himself to see how far he could take it and how much he could get away with. If he walks, I have no. This country might as well shut itself down because there is no law. There's no law there.
You're already in shutdown.
No, the country is not shut down at all. It's still moving like nothing happened. No. I'm finished.
Well, for me, it's premeditated because he passed out at 4 minutes. So at that point, there's no justification for getting there. But at that very point that he passes out, a police officer, not just the one who's restraining him, but all the other police officers have a duty of care to resuscitate the man. So they should have stopped restraining him immediately, performed CPR, tried to resuscitate him. He chose to continue to suffocate this man.
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact that he's in handcuffs and you've chosen to put your knee on his neck, that's premeditated for me.
Yeah.
And you've carried it out all the way.
Yep.
No, he's probably dead at 6 minutes, not 8.
Well, no, he's dead. He was dead before the 8-minute mark.
Yeah, definitely. So, what you got people standing there screaming, saying he can't breathe. The man's told you he can't breathe.
Yeah.
They're screaming at you and imploring you to stop,
and
you refuse to stop. That takes a level of predetermination to complete an act.
Oh yeah.
And there's no reason for the restraint in the first place. The man's in handcuffs and there's 4 police officers, so he can be put in the back of the car and taken to the police station if, in fact, he has actually committed a crime.
Which is yet to be determined, yet to be established. The fact that.
Yeah, this is just another situation that underscores the fact that there is something fundamentally wrong with this country, right? There's something fundamentally wrong with this country. Even right now with this situation, this is proof that there is something fundamentally wrong with this country, right? Everybody is so focused on this one cop who not only does he commit murder, he also, prior to killing the guy, he is infringing upon his constitutional rights. Okay? Now, those are the first 2 problems. Now, he wasn't there by himself. There was him and 3 other officers, right?
That's right.
Now, in this country, a sworn officer of the law takes an oath to protect and uphold the Constitution of the United States. All right? And in the Constitution, there are guarantees to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, which were denied this brother. All right? Why were these other 3 officers who are accessories to murder, why were they not upholding their oath to defend and protect the Constitution and the rights of every citizen? This man has he's not alive anymore, but he had constitutional rights that these knuckleheads are sworn to uphold and protect. That's problem number 3. Problem number 4, not only did these idiots not uphold their oath, they broke their oath that they swore. They swore to protect the Constitution, defend the Constitution, protect every citizen's rights, constitutional rights. But they are accessories to murder, and yet they're still walking around free.
Yeah.
What in the entire fuck is wrong? I don't understand. These people, they stood there and watched this man commit murder. Now, you are an officer of the law, right? Now, listen, if I had a gun, right, and I shot somebody, and there's a police officer standing right there, what's going to happen to me?
You're going to get arrested for murder.
If I live long enough to see the inside of the police car, he's probably just going to pull out his gun and shoot me. Okay, that's what's going to happen, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
Right? I won't even get a chance to see my dad in court. Yet still, you had these 3 stooges just stand there and watch this man, A, deny this guy of his constitutional rights, and then B, commit murder. And they did nothing. That makes them accessories to murder, and they are still walking around free. How in the hell does shit like this happen constantly, consistently in this country? And nobody's asking this question. Why aren't these other 3 idiots in custody? They are just as guilty. They are accessories to murder. They sat there and watched.
Yep.
And did nothing.
Well, they're more than that. They stopped other people from intervening and saving the man's life.
Thank you. There's more than enough charges to go around for those 3 idiots.
More than enough. Ample amount.
Amen.
There's something fundamentally wrong in this country. Okay? It's been open season on black men forever. All right? And it seems that hasn't changed.
Certainly doesn't seem like it's changed to me. We're all with it all the way over the pond, and it seems very clear that is a dangerous place. It's a dangerous place to be for a black man. I think I'll just keep my ass over here in Europe. I think I'll just keep my ass over here in Europe. Maybe retire to the Caribbean. Yeah, maybe, but not America.
Yeah, no paper like, over there.
Yeah, not America. I kind of like the idea of Florida. I like the idea of retiring on a beachfront. I kind of like that, but can't be in America. It's too dangerous, man. It's too dangerous. Way too dangerous for Rafi. It's too dangerous for Rafi, and Rafi ain't getting down on his knees for no man badge or no badge. So that's instant death over there. That's the death penalty on the street. So no, it's not for Rafi. It's not for Rafi over there. But you know what? I think we've wrapped that one up. And I love the phrase on this one. Which knee, you probably can't see very clearly, but it's up here. Which knee offends you more? Is it this knee? Is it Colin Kaepernick's knee? Or is it the knee of this guy? What's his name, David?
I saw that post. What's his
name?
I don't know.
Charvin or something along those lines.
David Charvin, something along those lines.
Chauvin.
Charvin. I'll go with Charvin. Okay. So, yeah, Troy, you were saying something before we move over to the fights.
Yeah, I was saying I saw that post. It was a very powerful post. I saw it. And I question anyone who said that both of them are steeped in hate. No one came back at me. Not one of them people that said both of them are steeped in hate had anything to say to me.
Just before we come off it, Raph, because it's something that I don't really understand because I don't go to America.
Yeah.
I've talked about why not previously. I'm not going over it again. I don't get why when this sort of stuff is all over the media, people are upset about people protesting it in a public way like this.
I don't understand it.
I don't understand how these guys are supposed to be hating anybody because they're drawing attention to the persecution they receive. How is that hate?
That's hilarious. That's what it is.
I can't. I mean, I know there's some sort of
twisting narratives. That's what it is.
Well, there's a massive fear in sections of the white population in America of black people. And maybe it's underlying guilt of what's going on.
I think that's what it is. I think it's I think a lot of these people who protesting, they might not be them themselves, but they could have a mother. They could have a mother who feels that way. They could have a father. They could have a father who feels that way. They could have a brother who feels that way. They could have a sister, if there's somebody they know close to them who feels that way, and they get a little bit. I think they get a little bit sensitive because it's a little bit close, or it could be them. It's a little bit close to home, and so they protesting.
I've just seen a guy who was at this protest with a sign saying "All Lives Matter," a white guy. So he's basically trying to say, well, what are you going on about this Black Lives sort of thing?
Yeah.
We matter too.
Yeah.
Like, are you actually serious?
He's serious to himself, but he's missing
the
point.
Yeah, I know.
But listen, here's the deal about the All Lives Matter situation, right? How can all lives matter until Black Lives matter?
Exactly, right, Doctor. That's the point, isn't it?
Right.
So if Black lives don't matter, then all lives don't matter. Mm-hmm. Okay, but the All Lives Matter crowd are just oblivious to that which is painfully obvious, and it's just crazy.
It's called denial.
It's called denial, and it's supporting the status quo.
Yeah, exactly. So they're supporting the actions of this man killing this police officer, killing this, unarmed, handcuffed man.
Yeah,
with no threat to anybody.
And already.
He might have been before they put the handcuffs on, but he's got handcuffs on now.
No, you have to understand he's a threat because he's black.
No, but that's
in this country. But you have to understand in this country, blackness is a threat. The fact that you are black is a threat.
That's the point I'm trying to make, Fight Doctor. That if you're offended by that team kneeling to highlight persecution, and you're calling that hate, it's because there's some sort of subliminal fear or guilt of the black population coming from the white population, as far as I can see.
I think so. But you know what? I think it's time for, we chopped that up nicely. And it's time for a change. It's time for a change in American society, where they see these killings for what they are. Just pure, cold murder. And I put it to you. I asked you the question: which knee offends you most? And I know which knee offends me most. I know which knee offends me most, and I'll leave it to you. The viewing public, to make your own, arrive at your own decisions. Rest in peace, George Floyd. And with that, close that chapter for today. It's gonna run and run. It's gonna run and run. I'll be following very, very closely. And so let's get to it. Let's get to the fight. Still haven't managed to do much boxing talk today. Hopefully we're gonna talk about the fight right now. We're gonna talk about the fight right now. So the boxing talk, I guess that'll have to wait until maybe tomorrow. You know, after the show. After the afternoon show today, we've done 2 shows today. After the afternoon show, I'm going for a lovely bike ride. Sun's beating down. It's like the tropics over here in the UK. It's a beautiful time to ride a bike and just refresh your mind. Feel the breeze against one's skin. Beautiful way to unwind and also prepare for this show. And we're into it. And so we're going straight into the fight. Guess I better share. Is there any preparation I need to do before I share this with you? Yeah, I think I need to write something. Something I need to write in here. The banner. Allow me to do so. Where are we? Okay. So let's just copy this text here. And paste it in. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So now you know what it is. It's Nigel Ben. I'm not showing face. Yeah, there we are. That's me. It's Raphael Dawkins. It's the Combat Radio. If you like the show, not the content, not what happened to Floyd George, but if you're happy with me covering it, with us covering it, then kindly go ahead and smash that like button. If you enjoy the show, but you are not yet subscribed, kindly go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon for notifications as we move the show onto a classic fight review. This is where we look at the classic fight from beginning to end, talk about it, and we review. Many people have not seen this fight before in its entirety. So what I ask is that no one in the comment section give away the plot and the plot twists. Drop the link. Boom, boom. Uh-oh, that's not the link. I just wrote that thing in there. Okay, where's the link? Copy, paste, and the boom. There's a link back in the chat. Okay, so nobody mentioned the outcome of this great show tonight, Rafi. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Nobody talk about the outcome. We just watch it as if we have never watched it before. Oh, not really like that. We have watched it before, most of us. But we watch it and we review it, but we don't give away the plot twists. Don't give away the H Money. You've offended too many people, my friend. You've offended too many people. You're gonna have to sit this one out. You gotta stop offending people. Stop with the false allegations. Did you say Red Glove Militant was racist? That was highly unkind. Don't do that. And to the best of my knowledge, untrue. So please don't.
I think red actually belongs to an ethnic minority in the US.
Yeah. I think red belongs to at least one ethnic minority. So please be careful of your words.
I think there may be a clue in the color of the glove.
Sorry?
I think there may be a clue in the color of the glove, but I could be wrong.
Red Glove Militant is red. Damn.
I think so.
He's a red man. He's a red man.
I believe it. I need him to confirm it.
He's not orange and he's not blue. You're saying he's in the gang warfare, the Crips and the Bloods? Is that what you're alluding to?
No.
You're saying the Red Glove Militant is a gang member?
Of Native American descent.
Damn. I thought he was half black, half Mexican. But your story sounds better. Your story sounds more romantic.
It doesn't like to stick it out there.
Your story sounds more romantic.
I certainly think.
Ralphie.
Yo.
Yeah, I was kicked. I dropped again, so I didn't see the fight. I heard you say Nigel Benn versus who?
Yeah, well, hey, bro, you're here now. We're starting it now. So come on, don't spoil the surprise. Why would I spoil the surprise for you? I'm not going to do that. What kind of guy do you think I am? Huh? You know I'm full of surprises. Don't talk when you're muted, Troy. Okay, so where we at? Red is a good egg. Mexican. Where we at? Stick to the topic and don't worry. Don't worry about Red's view count either. Okay, so boom, it's a 2-hour mark and we're just getting into the fight. Okay, I'm pretty sure I have a feeling that, okay, so listen, we're gonna have to do a show tomorrow in the daytime sometime because we still haven't got to boxing talk. We didn't get to boxing talk earlier on and we didn't get to boxing talk tonight. We're doing the boxing fight review. There's going to be some boxing talk in that, but sometimes there are matters more important than your sport. But we're getting to the sport now. So boom, without much further ado, let me share. But before I do that, I feel like I should close down one of these windows. There's a lot of windows open. Which one am I going to close down? Let's close down some windows. I'm going to close down that one, and I'm going to close down that one. Okay, so I think I'm in the comfort zone now. I don't think we're going to be experiencing any crashes. I think we're safe. Yeah, I think we're safe. Okay, without much further ado, let me share with you. Okay, so where's this going to start from? What's going on? Okay, so we're covering Gerald McClellan versus the Dark Destroyer. The Dark Destroyer, Nigel Benn. What's this guy, guys? Insignia all over this damn thing. I don't know. What should I do? Should I go and watch something else? Should I watch another thing?
Was that the odds, Rafi?
Sorry?
Did you just scroll past the odds? Because I think they're quite interesting for this fight.
Let's scroll past the odds.
Yeah. So we've got McClellan's moving up from middleweight. He's undefeated.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's not undefeated. He had 2 little points decisions against him very early on. One was a 6-rounder and an 8-rounder. He's going into this fight with more first-round knockouts than anybody else. Knocking out knocking out John Mugabe and Julian Jackson twice along the way. So although he's stepping up from middleweight to super middleweight, he's actually the 3-1 favourite.
Who's the 3-1 favourite? McClellan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a list of odds there in favour of McClellan, aren't there?
Yeah.
Because we'd seen Nigel beaten by Eubank by this point.
Yes, we had. We had indeed. Okay, so that's the odds. You see the odds right there on your screens. You see the odds right there on your screens. Okay, move on.
In some ways, more terrifyingly, Gerald had taken Julian's punches as well as knocked him out.
Say that again.
In some ways, it's more terrifying that Gerald had actually taken Julian Jackson's punches.
Yeah.
And then knocked him out.
So
not only had he got ridiculous power, he'd got one of the best chins around at the time.
One hell of a chin. Who's here? Everybody's here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So let's line this up. The big fight. I'm pretty sure that this was on normal TV over here in the UK.
So ITV?
Yeah, it was on ITV. I watched it live.
Yeah, I watched this fight the night it broadcast live.
Was it pay-per-view over there?
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay, because it was free to air on ITV, independent TV, the third channel. We had BBC One, that's British Broadcasting Company, I think, BBC Two, and those are the first two channels, and then ITV, I believe. Yeah, ITV, independent television, ITV, free to air. I watched this live for free.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this fight was broadcast on Showtime in the US.
Yeah, we didn't even need a subscription to see it.
Yeah. Just normal TV.
TV license, how much was that back then, Ralph?
Tenner, 20 quid. I don't know.
That's for the year.
For the year. Yeah, watching this at home. Family home. Gerald McClellan walking to the ring. It was a killer.
The G-Man. Oh my God.
The G-Man.
He was an indestructible killer as well.
Yeah.
That's just what can you do?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he actually holds a win over Roy Jones in the amateurs. From what I understand, the reason why Jones didn't go to the Olympics is because he got beat, Jones went to the Olympics, but somehow they had a fight. Gerald McClellan and Roy Jones, they fought for some position on the Olympic team, and McCullough won.
Yeah. What?
Don't they normally have a box off of several fights, though, Fight Doctor?
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works, but I do know that
I think Tyson beat Tillman 1 out of 3. I'm sure it's either 3 or 5 actual fights you have to make the US Olympic team. You have like a box off, and it's the best of the series, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I mean, I'm not an expert on US selection, but I'm sure that you guys do a box off, or you used to anyway.
Back when I had a coat hanger for an aerial. Prisoner cell block H. I remember that. I remember prisoner cell block H. What's that?
Was that on Channel 4?
Yeah, it was. It wasn't on ITV, so that would have been on Channel 4. Prisoner cell block H. Our American friends don't know what the hell we're talking about. It was an Australian series, kind of low budget thing. Well, not the lowest budget, but low-ish budget. I've got to stop this. I've got to stop this and take this back. You guys know that I love my documentaries. And hold on. That's Carlton Leach. Okay, so this guy here, notorious gangster, Carlton Leach. Used to work down Ministry, Same time, I was popping down there, Carlton Leach.
Carlton Leach from Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, or am I thinking about somebody else?
Somebody else. This is a notorious gangster, and a bigger gangster than him over here is Tony Tucker. Tony Tucker, if you American guys want some entertainment, I'll drop a link in this thing if I remember at some point, and you can find out about the Essex Boys. Little firm, about 3 or 4 guys, head guys, into criminality of all sorts, primarily drugs. And there was a third guy, Tate. So you got Carlton Leach over here, Tony Tucker over here, part of the Essex Boys firm, who got lured up into a side lane down in Essex. Down in Essex.
I was wrong about Robin Leach.
And lured into a side lane down in Essex, and all of them got murdered. Not machine gun, shotgun, close range, took out the notorious Essex Boys, notorious gangsters, walking Nigel Benn to the ring. Tony Tucker did own a security firm, so that was the other side of the business. That was the legitimate side. Okay.
I think Carlton survived that. Carlton's still about, isn't he?
Yeah, Carlton Leach is alive. Carlton Leach wasn't in the Range Rover. Oh, he's still alive. Still very much alive.
There's a few films out there to watch.
Well, yeah, the documentaries. I love the documentaries rather than the films. There's a documentary series I'm following right now. It's enthralling, absolutely enthralling. What's the name of the channel? Crime Scene to Courtroom. Crime Scene to Courtroom. That's the name of the channel. Absolutely enthralling stuff. Absolutely enthralling. But anyway, that's a side story. That's the Essex Boys, the Essex connection. Okay, and we have Nigel Benn up in the ring, the Dark Destroyer. Background to this is it took place in, when was it, 1995. It was a Saturday. It was in London, Saturday the 25th of February, 1995. What's that? 25 years ago. Good Lord. 25 years ago. Nigel Benn versus Gerald McClellan for, was it the WBC super middleweight? WBC super middleweight.
I'm sure Gerald's still holding the middleweight title at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, he was WBC champion 93 to 95 at middleweight. Mm-hmm. So it's his first super middleweight fight. And he's still the 3-1 favorite because he's such a monster.
Yeah. Remember, people in the chat, don't give it away. I was talking about Cell Block H. Yeah, Cell Block H, low budget Australian thing, Australian series. And Troy Graham's in and out here like a yo-yo. He's back again.
Yeah, man. It's I'll be switching services soon. So yeah.
So Cell Block H, an Australian TV series you Americans won't know about, but it became a surprise hit over here in the UK. Just about women prisoners. So I guess it had potential from the start. You watch Cell Block H, John?
Queen Bee, of course did.
And one of the main characters was a prison guard, affectionately named Vinegar Tits. That's what the inmates used to call her. Very popular, became very popular, kind of like a cult. Got a cult following. It's cheap and cheerful, very interesting. That's one of the old ones. I would mind rewatching a few of those episodes. I found them. There's a nice little bit of drama in there, some intrigue, a little bit of romance. And very entertaining. So here we are. There's Frank Warren, old brick top, old fish eyes. His eyes hadn't fully popped out back then.
He looks young, doesn't he?
So he does look young. Does look young.
He's making me feel very old, Rafi.
Well, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. The memories of good times. Watching it on the old family TV.
Well, that was one of the best things about it. How spoiled we were.
Yeah.
So top boxing, don't even need a subscription.
Don't even need a subscription. Free to TV. Free TV. Wentworth Prison. Cell Block H. Gucci Kid knows about it. Lizzie Birdsworth. Man's remembering names.
it really was cult though, wasn't it? Prison Cell Block H.
Man's remembering names. Lizzie Birdsworth.
Philip Carl Roberts. That's hilarious.
Say that again. Philip Carl Roberts. Yes, Lizzie Birdsworth.
Did you see his post, Ralphie?
Did I see what?
Did you see Philip Carl Roberts' post?
Which one? He's made a lot.
No, he just made one. He was naming names from the show.
Oh yeah. I saw the Lizzie Birdsworth one. Maybe he's put some more in. I don't know. I haven't got to it yet. Came with bad intentions. Love watching the G-Man fights. I'll watch them again. Memories. Yeah. Hell yeah. His eyes hadn't fully popped out back then. His eyes hadn't fully popped. He hadn't fully developed. Raphael, what weight class did you box at when you turned pro? Well, I never turned pro. This was my boxing was all done inside gyms. All done inside gyms, but you know, it's more than boxing, it's mixed martial arts. I'm a martial artist, my friend. And various different martial arts, from jiu-jitsu to judo to kickboxing to boxing to wrestling. I'm a lifelong martial artist. Okay, so Philip Lennon Jr. Philip Lennon Jr. is introducing the fighters. I'm not going to put any sound on, don't want any copyright issues. They have the Dark Destroyer, Nigel Benn, versus the almost indestructible G-Man McClellan. G-Man, Gerald McClellan, the G-Man.
The odds were pretty sure for the G-Man to knock Nigel out in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people thought that, you know, that there was some good money to be had on that. So the bookies weren't really offering fantastic odds for that type of betting.
Well, that's offering fantastic odds at all. Like the picture quality of this.
And when you got a guy moving up from middleweight to super middleweight, and it's his first fight at that weight, that says a lot, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah. What did you say?
Well, this is Gerald's first fight at super middleweight.
Gerald's first fight at super middleweight. They're getting ready. They're getting ready for the action. You guys get ready to call the action.
Say, can somebody check McClellan's record on box records? I don't think that this is actually his first fight at super middleweight.
Isn't it? I'll double check it for you.
Okay, so the action has started. Big overhand rights, not even overhand rights. The clubbing rights from McClellan. Yeah, kind of overhand.
I'm frozen on my end, so I'm going to log in and log back out, all right?
Okay, cool. Okay, so it's a body attack. It's knocked. Ben has been knocked through the ropes. And it's been called in by the referee. And some people say that should have been the end of the fight.
All the fights prior to this were for the middleweight title.
Attack, big attack. McClellan is bashing McClellan is bashing Ben. Ben's holding on for dear life. Attack, attack, attack. Clubbing hooks. Wow. Overhand rights. Damn.
Look at the leverage he's getting into.
The leverage on that is crazy. That man knew how to throw a technically devastating punch. Nigel Ben.
The distance is cocking it back from, and it's moving. It's just
Nigel Ben bobbing and weaving. Oh, what was that? A left hook? That was a left hook. Nigel Ben, right hook. Punch to the body right now. The crowd are in uproar. The crowd are in uproar. Wilder's never fought this good, my friend. No chance. Not with this variety of shots. You've never seen Wilder with this variety of shots. Never.
Yeah, no. Wilder and McClellan are not in the same class. Nowhere near.
No way.
They're not, no.
They're in the same universe.
And McClellan's got a devastating left hand. He's not a one-handed fighter.
Yeah, one-handed fighter, and he's got punch variety galore. I think Wild Soul must have been joking. Ben is still in trouble, but more with it. Claims come with a counter left hook there. The crowd are in uproar because they thought it was all over within seconds of the first round. See Don King's stepson standing up there in the blue double-breasted jacket. Okay, Ben's still around. The crowd are going crazy. Ben's leg. Ben's legs are gone. Who's got the crisp? Who's got the crisp wrapper? Who's unwrapping crisps? Okay, Ben has made it. Ben has made it to the second round. He's made it in. He's made it out to the first round. He was looking dodgy back then. He was looking well dodgy. But he's made it back. Yeah, carry on.
Fight doctor.
So, yeah, a lot of credit to Nigel Benn for making it out of that round.
Mm.
You know, I mean, he took a beating from a hellacious puncher, and you know, he showed a lot of heart, determination, and stick-to-itiveness.
Mm-hmm. 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 Some people said the fight should have been called off right there when Ben fell out of the ring.
Well, the thing is, although he's still taking a beating at the end of the round, he's starting to successfully bob and weave and duck away from the punches. He's actually started to make him miss.
Oh yeah.
So he was actually starting to read him. And just to Fight Doctor's point, McClellan's still holding the middleweight title going into this fight.
Oh, huge right hook. Rocks McClellan. Temporarily. Well, he's with it. He's got his struggles.
It's the best way to get Nigel to fight is to hurt him, isn't it?
Yeah, Nigel just seems to be stalking, and he's just stalking right now, you know. He figures like this. You know, he has to catch me or I'm going to catch him.
I also think
leather on him. He's trying to put some leather on him. Boom, boom.
Well, that was a
Bruno in the orange suit standing up. Boom. What was that, left hook? I think it was pretty sure it was a left hook. Look at that. The crowd.
On the left, I think I was left hook.
Crowd jumped out of their seats. There's Nigel Benn ringside. Damn. Clown comes back with a hell of a left hook. Hell of a left hook.
Gerald's doing is he's giving away his length and his height. Because honestly, if he would just jab, all that Nigel's doing, that wouldn't have any effect on him. But he's giving away his height and his reach. See?
Yeah, that's the Kronk gym. You know, those guys they go to war, and that's just what they do. And you know, I think in this fight, McClellan was representing the Kronk gym a little too well.
Now they're taught to jab. That's all, but he's just not utilizing it well.
He looks like he uses the jab as a route to the body because his body punches are so vicious. Gerald,
Nigel Benz.
They're both just going to war, aren't they?
To war.
You know, this is a test of manhood as opposed to boxing skill, I think.
Hell yeah.
You know,
it's a combo deal. It's both in there, but yeah, definitely a test of manhood. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But what a perfect clash. What a perfect clash. Two guys who.
What is that saying, you know, that Dillian White have about violence? Something violence. What is that quote that he has, Ralphie? Something violence. I don't remember. But,
I don't know.
But, you know, that's what this is.
I don't know.
Yeah. This is nothing but controlled violence right here.
Yeah, I agree with that. McClellan's on his back. There must be a reason. Boom. Something's hurt him. Something's hurt him. He wouldn't be on his back for a reason. He's dancing around. He was doing the AJ. Ruiz too. That's not a good comparison though, because AJ did that style deliberately. But he was dancing around. McClellan don't circle around like that for no reason. He got hurt in there in that second round.
Okay. Same thing again. Seems like this round, no jab. Yeah, see? He's just letting them walk in on him.
Big uppercut from Nigel Ben. Big uppercut from Nigel Ben. Right uppercut. Boom. Left hook. Left, right, McClellan cut. Boom. Massive left hook from Ben to the jaw of McClellan. Massive. I think Ben's earned McClellan's respect here. Nice jab from McClellan. And another. He's going back to some basic boxing now.
Because that's the thing. He's got a great jab when he wants to use it, hasn't he?
Boom. Yeah, he does. He does. But he didn't respect Nigel Ben. He does now. Nice jabs from McClellan.
Finally threw a jab out and it snapped
his
head back.
Massive right from McClellan. Hooks to the body now. A little bit of body work inside fighting. Nice uppercut from boom. Massive hook from McClellan to the jaw, side of the head of Ben. Both throw a jab at the same time, both miss. McClellan on his toes now. McClellan has felt nice jab, lovely jab. McClellan has felt the power of Nigel Ben, and now he's decided to box clever. Use his boxing skill. I already see signs of discomfort on McClellan's face in the third round. Hadn't noticed that before. Nigel Ben is stone-faced.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. McClellan already had the mouthpiece out of his mouth already in the third round. I didn't think I remembered that. Maximum violence is what Dillian White says, Troy, according to the card master. Maximum violence. Jab by McClellan.
Thank you.
Nice jab by McClellan to the body. Already signs of discomfort in McClellan in the third round. I don't think I recall that before. Sometimes the mouthpiece is out. Oh, gosh. What a beautiful right by McClellan.
Yes, that was a pretty right.
Straight right.
He set it up with the jab.
Yeah. Boom.
I think the thing with him, he was such a strong believer in his power. He didn't always use the skills that he possessed because, I mean, they're all there.
And that first thing they teach you not to do is not to throw your right off the wrong foot, which Gerald just did. And he missed the right. That was a nice right.
Was a nice right.
Nigel has good eyes. I can tell you this. He has good eyes. But you know what he's doing? When he comes in and he tries to slip a punch, he drops his head down, which means his eyes are down, so he can't see the next punch coming at him. Watch it. Every time he throws that hook, he puts his head down first, so he can't see what shot is coming at him. He's just swinging.
Okay, so paused it. Ben got over 10 seconds to get up because he fell through the ropes. However, he was only entitled to 10. He would have been entitled to 20 had he fallen off the apron. And that's a controversial point, talking point. Why some say the fight should have been stopped in the first round. Okay.
Actually, it was stopped in the first round for a second, but you know.
Okay, and I think this is the fourth round.
He's holding.
Boom.
Okay, see, he was wide open. Yeah, he was wide open there, but he got away from it.
Boom. Big right, chopping downward hook. Nice combo from McClellan to the body of Ben.
So, guys, I think McClellan is a little winded. I think that's why he keeps opening his mouth like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. He's definitely feeling it.
Yeah.
Definitely feeling it.
Still dangerous.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Oh, yeah. I think he's still, even now, he's pushing his mouthpiece out. Clearly a sign of discomfort. Big right from Ben. Didn't see the type of punch it was where it landed. Who's holding here? McClellan? It's kind of holding.
McClellan.
Yeah. Okay, both miss with shots. Ben's was a left hook. Okay. Whisks. Right hook, left hook. Misses from Ben. Leaping, lunging. Left hook misses from Ben. Right catches. The jaw. The cheek of McClellan. McClellan holds again. McClellan is feeling discomfort. Headlock from Ben.
Yeah. That will sap all the energy right out of you.
Hell yeah. Hold on to it for long enough. Do it regularly enough. Boom.
Yeah.
Some inside work going on here. Ref not interfering. Good stuff. They break themselves. Great refereeing in that moment.
We're getting the full range from outside to medium range to inside fighting.
Again, the full bamboo. Getting the full bamboo with these two.
Very nice uppercut by Nigel, but it missed. And I think Gerald missed also.
Yes. Whole body into it like a train. G-Man looks spent. He ain't completely spent. Still got something in the tank. Still something in the tank. Boom.
Turn southpaw. But I think for the second time in the fight.
Yeah. Still southpaw is McClellan.
So typically, when you see a guy turn southpaw, when you see an orthodox fighter turn southpaw in the middle of a fight, that means that there's something wrong. That's typically what that means.
Or he could be trying to throw the other guy's timing off, but
yeah,
he could be either one.
Could be either one. Could be trying to confuse the other guy, or maybe he's confused himself. Could be trying to confuse the other guy, or maybe he's confused himself. Boom.
Now the southpaw is not working for him.
It's gone back to orthodox.
Yeah, because you never turn southpaw against a hooker because you're blind to those left hooks most of the time, so you don't want to turn southpaw. Right?
That was a big right hook there. Yeah, that was a big right hook there from Ben. Boom. From Ben. Was that straight? That was straight. Boom. Hook, right hook from Ben lands, leaping hooks.
The shots he's taking are seriously powerful shots from Ben.
Powerful shots.
Most people would be on the back by this point, or longer.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes having a good chin is a curse.
It's not always good for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, taking punches is never good.
No.
Taking punches is never good.
Yeah, good idea.
There seems to be so much emphasis on chin these days, but it's much better to have defensive skills and a great chin.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, he's fighting inside when he just a jab would beat Nigel. There you go. See, there you go.
Nice.
Jab right hand. Jab right hand. Nigel all day long. All day long. Jab right hand.
Yeah.
You blink and then boom.
That's right. Oh, down. The mouth shield is almost totally out of McClellan. It's totally out. Trying to catch air. It's the 5th round.
Y'all see that hook?
Yeah. Huge left. Nigel was hell of a good fighter with those hooks. He was hell on wheels with those hooks. See what I did to Aaron Barkley?
No comment.
Troy is so right though. Gerald's got like a 4-inch reach advantage.
Oh, what a puncher he was. Holy shit. I think he's definitely in the conversation as one of the hardest punchers pound for pound in the history of the sport.
He has to be.
We talking about Fight Doctor. What we talking about?
Prince Nassim.
Let's see what he has to say.
Yeah. No, the once fighter and now Indian butcher. Yeah. He just says anything out his mouth now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know about his out of the ring activities, but in the ring, the man could punch. The man could just flat out punch. I mean, in both hands.
Check out his style. I'm not telling you check him out, but check out his styles and stuff, Fight Doctor. That's where his power came from.
No question. That's where the power comes from. That's where it comes from.
Where did Tommy Hearn's power come from?
God and his back, and the fact that Tommy was really just a heavyweight playing all these weights, because right now he's bigger than Holyfield.
Where was where did what was his name, Bob Foster's power come from?
There's something about those tall, lanky guys, those tall, skinny, lanky guys. For some reason, they could just generate a lot of power. And that's something I can never understand. I still don't understand it. But Tommy Hearns, Bob Foster's, those guys, tall, lanky, but could punch like hell. I can never understand that.
They utilize their long levers.
Yeah, because you know what it is, Ralphie, is reach and timing, because they catch you coming in.
Yeah.
So power doesn't always come from the legs then?
I still think they get their legs into it. They've just got skin legs.
In Tommy's case, if you see how broad his back is, that's where he get that. Yeah. And power is just a God-given gift in most cases.
So where did Bob? Because Bob's power didn't appear to come from the legs, and it certainly didn't appear to come from no broad back. He didn't have no back. So where did his timing? Where did his
reach and timing? Reach and timing. He would set that jab out there and let you come to him, and then he would step forward with everything he had and drop that right on you.
All right, so peeps this. Yeah. So Nazi's power came from his legs. Hearn's power came from his broad back, and Foster's power came from where?
But if he's stepping into the punch, Rafi, he is levering his weight into the punch from his legs.
Right. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yes.
So okay. Yeah, I accept that to a certain degree. But the point I'm trying to illustrate is that there's a saying that the power comes from the legs, and having big, thick legs is a benefit. And I'm not sure I buy into that. The power always comes from the legs to an extent. But I don't know about having the big chunky legs.
I don't think mass ever comes into it in terms of muscle mass. I think it's utilizing them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's
so
right.
You can have skinny legs, but if you use them,
yeah,
still a lot stronger than the rest of your body.
Yeah. So my point that I'm trying to make is that big legs aren't a prerequisite for having knockout power.
No, but I don't think you can generate that type of force without utilizing them properly.
So you can't have power without you can't. I don't care how skinny your legs are. If you like you said about Foster, like I explained, once he sets that jab out there and you want to come in on him, he plants that right foot and he times you, and you feeling all of his weight as you come in. So that's coming up from his legs. That is coming up from his legs and everything else. He plants that foot and steps forward. Boom! He steps forward, then he plants his foot and then throws that right. He gonna knock you dead.
When it comes to punching power, I think muscle mass is never really an indicator anyway. It's always technique and leverage. And to achieve maximum technique and leverage, you've got to create maximum torque, and you can only do that through your legs.
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, just get a few comments in before I go to Naz speaking. Naz is perfectly spherical these days, says Philip Carl Roberts. AOBZ, Hearns, and Wilder both have huge backs. Who's Tom? Do you mean Bob? It means Bob.
Tommy.
Sorry? Oh, Tommy. Oh yeah, Tommy Hearns. Never heard him called Tom before, but yeah, Tommy Hearns for sure. Wilder is tall. He's a tall, slim puncher. Speed kills. Speed. Power comes from strong bones, says OBZ. Punch technique, really. Yeah,
it's all technique, but proper technique needs to incorporate your legs.
Oh yeah, definitely needs to incorporate your legs. The point I was making was that you don't need big legs.
No, I totally agree, Rafi. Muscle mass just doesn't indicate it at all.
No.
I mean, that's my argument with Evander. If he'd have not put the muscle on to move up to heavyweight, I feel he would have been more effective.
Yeah.
I think it hurt him. I don't think it helped him. So however he achieved that mass, it seemed to hinder his technique from when he was a cruiserweight.
Technique increases power like a golf swing, 100%. Technique.
We're gonna get back to the fight because I'm not getting on Evander Holyfield today. No.
Nas was a great boxer. I did not like his arrogance though, but that's what made him what he was. Okay, now we're gonna have a little listen. I don't know if we're gonna pick this up. Hope I don't get no copyright for this, but whatever.
To the fight, but what a fight. He looks like he's going to win it now.
It's a great fight for Nigel now. I can see him taking him out, believe me. 2 more rounds. Nigel's looking the stronger fighter now. He's took the punishment. He's coming back with war. He's coming back with punches.
McClellan really isn't used to this sort of fight. He gets it over quickly. Do you think this is now going to be in Nigel's advantage?
I think definitely this is Nigel's advantage because, he's blown himself out basically. He's thrown all the punches, all the bombs he can. Believe me, it's Nigel's night now. Let's get it on, Nigel.
Are you, like the rest of the country, surprised that Nigel's doing so well?
I wasn't surprised because I said to people there might be an upset. As soon as I got into a play, I felt there might be an upset tonight because Nigel, once he starts knocking good shots out, Nigel takes him out.
Thanks.
Thanks, Nas. Seconds out, round 6. We're into round 6, ladies and gentlemen.
Just inside fighting, breaking by themselves. It's just full range of skills.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lovely ducking from Nigel to get in.
Boom. Nice hook by Nigel Benn, left hook.
It's such a sneaky one.
Very sneaky. Very sneaky.
Feints to the right with his bending at the waist and just pops it on.
Yeah. There's an argument to say like Nigel was bending too low.
Oh, I'm off and on again. Wow. I got to go and come back. I got a black screen.
You can use those bends to increase your leverage, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially if you've gone the wrong way first.
Absolutely.
And you create that gap where they're not looking for it because you've distracted them.
Yeah.
So it doesn't need to be as weighty because they're not bracing.
That's right.
I just feel like at the very end of the first round, Nigel started to get a read on his punches and started to slip a lot.
Yeah.
And he just kept going and going until he really had him where he is now.
Yeah. Well, there's still all the marbles to fight for. McClellan is still dangerous, but Nigel is certainly in the ascendancy and had been, I think, from even the second round, moving up.
Well, right at the end of the round, before it finishes in the first, he's ducking and weaving under loads of punches.
Yeah.
Nice and that's what I mean by getting a read on him.
Yeah. Nice body work going in from Nigel, and McClellan responds.
Those were hellacious.
Finished off by a left hook. Oh, good left, right from McClellan. Now McClellan earlier complained about a shot behind the head. Unusual.
He's got such a lovely jab as well, hasn't he?
He does.
And he's got all that length as well, hasn't it?
Talking about McClellan, yeah.
Yeah. Nigel's not really a jabber, is he?
Shots behind the ear, 1, 2, 3. Big round. Big round. The crowd are on their feet. I think that was the end of the 6th round. I think this is the beginning of the 7th round. Damn, that's some swirly aerial. That's some swirly aerial shots.
They got the camera on the wire.
Yeah, camera on the damn wire. This was the days before drones. Frank Bruno there imploring him, come on, come on. Ben's hooks are beautiful. Yes, they are. What round is this? Damn. Is this the 8th?
It's not just the way he throws them, though, is it? It's the way he sets them up.
Yeah. I just want to go back. I just want to see what round we're in. I want to make sure. Starting this round again, so I can make sure I know what round we're in. McClellan's corner looks uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. Highly uncomfortable. Round 7. Okay. I was right. Verification purposes. Okay. Some hooks to the body. There from Ben. McClellan holds. Almost accidentally pressed the end button for the stream. Got to control the mouse. How's Ben like, come on, oh, he's got Nigel Ben to the body. Then he gives him a karate chop to the back of the head, does McClellan. Ben recoups quickly. Probably still feeling it, but he can't show it. Can't show it. But Ben or McClellan almost dropped Ben with a body shot in the 7th. And it's McClellan's round so far. McClellan's putting it on Ben in the 7th round. Oh, must caught him low. Ben with a leaping hook, followed by a straight jab. Okay.
Gerald's really putting in some good work in this round.
Putting in some very good work in this round. It's McClellan's round. The 7th round is McClellan's round so far. There's been shots behind the head from both parties. Two absolute gladiators going at it in here in the 7th round. Boom! Big left hook from Ben. And Clormouth calls him on. Hits him with a jab. Really, I think he's playing for time. Another jab.
Well, that's a good tactic. He's got the round in the bank.
Yeah.
Why get yourself hurt now?
Indeed. Ben's definitely not a jabber, no. Ben did believe in too many jabs, generally speaking.
Well, in this fight, he's got a huge reach disadvantage anyway.
Yeah.
You know, he's doing everything he can to get in, and he's setting those hooks up lovely most of the time. He's getting beat up a bit in this round, though.
Yeah. McClellan fired Emmanuel Stewart.
This is his first fight without Stewart.
Damn. Who won that round?
I'd have to give that one to Gerald.
Yeah, I think so.
That was a McClellan round.
That was a McClellan round. And let's continue in the theme of listening to these celebrities when they come up in between rounds.
A matter of fitness, this pace has been terrific.
Well, Nigel's lateral movement has given him real problems. He loaded up throughout this fight, and they're starting to take his toll, and he's very fatigued. He looks a lot more tired than Nigel does, but this is all down to who wants it the most, who's the fittest.
There's always a risk with Nigel that he could just get tagged.
Well, there is the risk, but he's finding McClellan much easier to hit now, and also McClellan's finding him more difficult to hit. If McClellan worked the body, he could probably have more success, but he's too tired to be able to think like that.
Looking at those two there, McClellan looks the one distressed.
No doubt about that, and he's more worried than Ben is at this stage.
Working there in McClellan's corner.
There, you got a little taste of the atmosphere. It's like a cauldron in there. Would have been like a cauldron in there, like the Roman amphitheater.
So they got it tied at this point.
Damn.
Rather than the official scorecard.
Damn.
6 each.
Wow. I had Ben way ahead at this point. McClellan put together some good work, catches Ben there. Ben is on the ropes. Boom. Shot behind the head from McClellan. Hook Ben comes in with a hook. Referee breaks him. Boom. Leaping hook. Left hook from Ben. Lands. Fires it up. McClellan clinches him up with the left arm. Shakes him off. Okay, McClellan, gum shield out of his mouth almost entirely. He's feeling it. Oh, big right hook to the floating rib of Ben, and then follows up with an uppercut, does McClellan. Ben on the ropes again. Comes out swinging as per usual.
For a long fighter, McClellan had such a lovely arsenal of body shots.
He did.
He really knew how to work that body.
He was a great, hell of a boxer.
Raphael, I think the reason it's so level is because the first rounds were close, but McClellan edged him. And then when Nigel's been on top, he's been dominant.
Yeah, that's right.
But he hasn't had the knockdown either.
No. Yeah, that's fair assessment. McClellan with the gum shield almost entirely out once again. He's feeling it. Nigel Ben comes in with some body shots. Big hook. Glances off. McClellan mixing up his punches. Body, head. Ben staggers back to the ropes. Damn, hooks to the body from McClellan. Vicious hooks. Ben comes back with vicious hooks of his own and takes some vicious hooks back from McClellan. One of the best fights of all times, ladies and gentlemen. That's my opinion. Ben throws a hook, staggers to the canvas, stands up, tries to steady himself. Legs look a bit wobbly. Ref counts, looks in his eyes, wipes off the gloves. McClellan comes in for the kill, but eats hooks to the head, body, and 2 uppercuts. And a hook to the head from Ben. Right hook. McClellan.
Ben is having a problem with the McClellan right hand.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, no doubt. McClellan does a little bit of sports gamesmanship there. Just stands up tall like the top dog, which he was in that round.
The thing that's disappointing is once he had him down, the way he walked up to him to finish him showed no respect. He's just there, completely open for the left hook. Whereas if he'd have just got in a decent stance and thrown a straight right, he probably could have got Nigel out of there. But instead, he just walked up to him, showed him no respect.
Yeah.
And ate a left hook instead of really putting his man away.
That's right. Okay. Slow-mo.
I mean, Nigel's in so much trouble here. Actually missing the hook that it made him fall over has probably helped him have that extra bit of time.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Or is this the 8th round? It's the 8th round.
Are we into 9? No.
I think it's the 8th.
Okay.
I've
been so enthralled, I haven't really been keeping count.
Yeah. Let me just check. I've just rewound it to the beginning of this round. Let me see. 9th round. 9th round. 9.
And Nigel's come out guns blazing. Whenever you hurt him, that's what he does.
Yeah.
It's worse up here. Yeah. Fuck it.
Jab from McClellan, hook from Ben. More power. Hits behind the head, couple of hit behind the head, a tap behind the neck from Ben. While McClellan holds. Gets warned by the referee. McClellan also warned with hits behind the head from the referee. Leaping hook from Ben. Oh, another hit on the back of the head from Ben. Punch to the body, McClellan holding on. Holding on to the ropes. Okay. That was a leaping hook from Ben. May have been some contact with the head there. Headbutt, yeah. McClellan goes down. McClellan goes down.
Making fight on. This is good news for Ben. This is good news for Ben. McClellan doesn't like it.
Well, Ben always said if he gets in a distance.
Boom. Left hook from Ben.
That really bet his neck over, didn't it, that one?
Yeah. Yeah, it did. Another warning for Ben. They re-engage or about to. Feint by Ben. Lead right hand from McClellan. Ben with a hook. Boom. Hook to the body of McClellan from Ben. McClellan hooks and misses. Catches that time with the right hook. Or was it leaping right? You decide. Shot to the body from McClellan. Gets one in return. Gets a stiff one in return. Boom. Leaping right hook from Ben.
Just vicious.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really on the side of the head. It's going to mess with your equilibrium.
Name. End of the 9th round. Who won that round? I think Ben.
Yeah, I'd have that as a Nigel round.
Yeah, I think so. I think
didn't he force him? Did he get a count for that headbutt, or did the referee just give him time because it was a headbutt?
Just gave him time. I think just gave him time.
Yeah, gave him time.
See a replay here. Boom! As he falls, the head clashes.
It is accidental because
Yeah.
McClellan's read the hook, so he stepped back.
Oh, McClellan leaned into it as well, though. One hell of a bout.
Yeah, he's leading with his head. I don't understand. I mean, that's not textbook boxing. You know, just what the hell are you doing there?
Yeah. He shouldn't have come in there. McClellan shouldn't have come in there after the punch. Yeah,
because he'd read the hook, so he'd step back, and that's what made Nigel fall and miss. And then he puts his own head into it. But maybe, you know, in a war like this, you don't have your best brain on you.
Yeah, Nigel Benn did have a fundraising event and donated the money to McClellan in response to the question by Mr. Squiggly. Okay. They got McClellan ahead there. They got McClellan ahead in the scorecards. Okay.
That's from the knockdown, Raphael.
Yeah. 85-87 is the current score by the unofficial scorecard. Okay, McClellan holding on. Boom, massive right hook. Was that a right hook? Massive. Absolutely massive. And down goes McClellan.
They're on their feet. Gerald McClellan doesn't see it now. He's got to get up.
Let's watch that replay.
Just now what the Swiss, Thailand, and Mexico judges think. Referee from France does both.
Ooh.
I don't understand how he's not actually knocked to the floor from that hook. You know, he's consciously just trying to buy some time, but
nah.
Most people will be on the floor.
So it's
he's hurt, but what I'm saying is the actual sheer weight of the punch should put him down. But it didn't.
People.
This is all heart is one of this fight.
Oh, down again.
He's stop him. I'll tell you that now. This fella doesn't like it the way he's going down. Of course, you're not going to enjoy being hit. But Jim Watt and I, when they go down like that,
Don King imploring him to get up. It's over. It's over. Didn't quit. He was dying.
That is not a quit, because the normal man would be out cold anyway.
Yeah.
So from what I understand, there had been some problems prior to this fight. And I want to say that has something to do with why Emmanuel Stewart was fired.
I think you're right, Fight Doctor. One of his sparring partners talked about hitting him in the Crunk gym in 94, and he started blinking in the way he's been blinking throughout this fight. The steward had called it off. He'd stopped it. I'm not sure if that led to them falling out, but Stewart was not happy with his condition. And I think there may have been more than one instance around that, which led Gerald to fire him because he wouldn't accept that he wasn't in a condition to really fight. And the fight before this is the second Julian Jackson fight, which is a defense of the WBC middleweight title. And he took a tremendous amount of punches in that fight as well. And he won. He won by knockout. So
which fight before this?
The immediate fight before this is the second Julian Jackson fight. And he's fought Julian Jackson twice and taken a lot of punishment off Julian Jackson across those two fights.
Yeah, Julian Jackson, a guy who is considered pound for pound the hardest puncher ever.
He's certainly up there. And if you this is the problem with having a fantastic chin. It enables you to take punishment, but it doesn't stop your brain from getting damaged necessarily. But Fight Doctor, he still held the middleweight title in this fight, so it is his first super middleweight fight. From 93 to 95, he was the WBC middleweight champion, and the fight before this was the second Julian Jackson fight, which was a defense of the middleweight title, and he's fighting Ben for his super middleweight title.
Okay.
So yeah, no, I thought he had some fights over the middleweight limit, but I guess I'm wrong.
Well, there must have been before 93, because they're all from 93 to 95. All of his fights are defenses of the WBC title, which he held for that entire time at middleweight. So there may be some other ones in between. I can double check it. I'll put his box rec in the chat.
Okay, so Philip Carl Roberts writes he knocked out Manny's front teeth. No, he didn't. He didn't knock out Manny's front teeth, but the trainer you see him with here, he did. We're talking about Gerald McClellan. He did knock out his front teeth, but that's the trainer after Manny Stewart. That was in holding pads, and the trainer said in a documentary about him, I think he did it on purpose too. And I remember Manny Stewart being interviewed, and they brought up Gerald McClellan's name, and he just kind of, Manny almost got agitated and said, that guy crazy. That guy crazy. Or that guy was crazy. So, yeah, it's like when you got Manny Stewart shaking his head and saying that guy's crazy, then you know the guy was probably crazy. But let's have a listen to a few seconds of the commentary.
He decided the first time he went on the
Boom.
floor, it was the same punches that's been taken all night long, but suddenly the chin could still take the punches, but the heart could not. Down he went, head as clear as a bell, eyes as clear as a bell, nothing wrong with him, apart from the fact that that punch in the jaw had an effect on his heart. We can't question the man's courage with the punches he's taken leading up to this particular round.
You know what? I'll tell you what.
The fight right out of Gerald McClellan here.
I bet my bottom dollar that Don King was aware of what was going on with Gerald McClellan.
Well, you don't like Don King. We know that. So you would think that. But you don't like Don King. I don't know.
Well, it's not that I don't like Don King. I don't like any of the promoters in boxing, to be completely honest. Aram, Golden Boy, you name a promoter in boxing, I probably don't like them.
Al Heyman? You like Al Heyman?
No, I don't. No, I don't like any of them. Okay.
Okay. Right, Doctor, just to come back to your point, you're right. So after fighting John Mugabe, he went up to super middleweight for
John the Beast.
Okay, sorry. He went to fight Lester Yarborough, Carl Sullivan, Steve Harvey, and Tyrone Moore at super middleweight. He then went back down to middleweight to fight Julian Jackson, and then held the middleweight title from that point on, which is something that's pretty unusual in itself.
Hold on. He fought a number of people at super middleweight?
Yeah, so he was middleweight champion when he beat Beast.
Yeah.
Then he went up to super middleweight, had a series of fights.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. He had 4 fights at super middleweight.
Who did he fight against? Do you know?
Tyrone Moore, Steve Harvey, Carl Sullivan, and Lester Yarborough.
Okay.
He then went back down to middleweight in 1993 to fight Julian Jackson. Won the world WBC middleweight title.
Yeah.
And defended it up until this fight, where he's going back up to super middleweight. So yeah, fight that's who you were right. I'd been a bit complacent there. I just assumed that because he was a 2-time middleweight champion, he hadn't gone up to super middleweight in between.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm not in front of my computer, so I would have just pulled up the box rec myself.
Interesting development. So let's hear what they have to say in the commentary. I hope I don't get copyrighted for this, but hey.
Put it out of the way, that's the border control doctor there.
I think this could be exhaustion, Richard. They've got a dehydration. I don't think it's the punches he's taken. But they're certainly taking him off the hospital overnight.
Oh, absolutely. Well, let's hope he's going to be okay.
I always liked Jim Watt, the Scots guy, talking there, but he got it so wrong tonight. He got it so very wrong tonight and that night. Gary Newbond there from ITV interviewing Nigel Benn. Let's listen. Oh.
Your greatest ever performance, that was one of the great boxing performances of all time in this country. Hello everyone, all you lot were cheering him up, giving it.
One of the greatest post-fight speeches, or if not one of the greatest, one of the most succinct.
He's giving it there. I knew he wouldn't be able to go the distance. I'm not... Yeah, Nigel. No, you listen to me. I'd like to thank my trainer, Kevin Saunders. Everyone's saying, oh, we ain't going nowhere without Jimmy Kidd. Proved them wrong. And not only that, the person I'd like to thank most of all is Paul McKenna, who hypnotized me and made me believe in myself. I don't care what I know. You listen to me. I'm always listening to you. No. Can I talk about the fight? Because it was a fabulous performance, Nigel. In the first round, thanks to my man, McCallum was very badly hurt, actually. I've got a stretcher in here, Nigel. McClellan, sorry. Mike McClellan is very badly hurt. So let's just move away a second to give Mike a bit of a chance. Nigel, in the first round, Gerald McClellan, sorry, getting confused here. In the first round, actually, I had to help push you back in there. I had to help push you back in there. The first round, you're in a lot of trouble. They brought them over here to bash me up, mate. Let me tell you that now. I'm saying what I want to say. They brought in there to try and bash me up, mate. No, Bill County, can you just get out of the way so we can say? Nigel, talk about that performance. It was sheer guts on your part to get back in there the first round. And I don't care if you knocked me down, I was ready to go with him. Whatever you wanted to do, I was ready to match him. All the way, mate, all the way. Now you might start believing in the Dark Destroyer. Start believing.
Now we're going to see one of the greatest moments in post-fight speeches when Don King reacts to what Nigel Benn has to say. Made me laugh.
Number one, second to no one. The other person I'd like to made a believer out of me. Okay, we're going to wrap this interview because we have a serious problem in the ring here, Jim, with Gerald McClellan. We have a serious problem with Jim McClellan.
You made a believer out of me. You made a believer out of me.
Is a very worrying aspect.
You look at the damage sustained to Nigel's face, though.
He is to receive
serious damage he took to win that fight.
And we, of course, and everybody here, I'm sure, can only hope that the challenger makes a complete recovery.
What are you saying, John?
When you look at the damage that Nigel sustained to his face to win that fight, one side is twice as big as the other.
Busted up.
And the other side's cut on the cheekbone.
Yeah, it's busted up.
He said he was urinating blood for 3 days after this fight.
I can believe him.
Oh, yeah, I don't think there's any doubt.
No doubt about that. What was going on here? What's going on in the chat? What's going on in the chat? Fight Doctor, what are your observations?
I find it odd that Don King is so enamored with Nigel Benn while his fighter, Gerald McClellan, is wearing a neck brace on his back, about to be put on a stretcher. He seems oblivious to it all. I just don't understand.
You know how Don King works. He wants to leave with the winner, whoever the winner is. You talk contracts.
It's all about the dollars, isn't it? That's all it's about.
It's all about the Benjamins, dead presidents. It's about the dead presidents on that paper.
Yeah, and I agree wholeheartedly. But I mean, so I get it. Don King is the guy who always leaves the ring with the winner. Mm-hmm. But it seems to me like, in this case, an exception can be made, all things considered, but cash moves everything around me.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I totally hear what you're saying. and a more reasonable, a more compassionate man may have took a more compassionate route. But you know, with Don, it's all about them greenbacks. It's all about the money. It's all about the bottom line. And so I totally hear what you're saying, but damn, you know, Don's done. You know how Don operates. There was a comment here I wanted to get to.
I think, in fact, Doctor, the facts are nobody has ever accused Don King of being a good human being.
No question there.
It's just never happened. A good promoter.
Mm. But
listen, I give the man credit. Don King, one of the best to ever do it in terms of promoting a fight.
Don King has done positive things in the community. I think he funded a law, actually. I watched the documentary on it the other day. He funded a anti-racism law. What was that law? I guess people can do a little Google search. I should have made a mental note exactly of what the law was, but he actually funded some prominent people and got some anti-racism law enacted. So Don King, contrary to popular belief, has done some benevolent things behind the scene, but that doesn't in any way diminish the some of his other, shall we say,
so there was this gangster, right? In Harlem, New York. His name was Frank Bumpy Johnson, right?
I know Frank.
I know who Bumpy is, yeah.
Yeah, and Frank Bumpy Johnson was, drug dealer, heroin, had ties with the mob, murder, kill people, the whole 9 yards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, every Thanksgiving, Bumpy Johnson would hand out a trunk load of turkeys to the people of Harlem.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's Don King. Bumpy Johnson. Even a criminal, even a derelict criminal has sense enough to throw a bone to the people he's taking care of. I'm sorry, to the people he's taking advantage of. Okay? That's Don King.
Yeah, but I think Don King actually had an anti-racism law enacted. He funded it. So that's a bit more than free turkeys. But I understand the principle that you're mentioning. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So the man has an anti-racism law enacted or whatever.
Yeah.
But he racism and capitalizing on racism is a hallmark of the man's career. So again, Bumpy Johnson throwing a bone to the very people he's taking advantage of. That's Don King.
I don't know if there's a direct parallel in relation to the example I gave, because I don't think he was widely known. I seen it in a documentary. People go and do your own research. You can pull it up. So it wasn't really widely known. Well, it isn't widely known because probably nobody here knew about it. But I saw it in a documentary. Pull it up. If you find a link, send it to me. Gotta learn my plate. Let's get through some of these comments. You guys, where the hell's Troy? Where the hell's Troy? Okay, you guys, if you got any comments, feel free to make them. As we know, obviously, I have to say that Gerald McClellan left. Was permanently in a vegetative, semi-vegetative, kind of vegetative state.
Yeah, guys, I need to correct myself real quick. Not Frank Bumpy Johnson, but Ellisworth Bumpy Johnson. My apologies.
Which Bumpy Johnson?
His first name is Ellisworth. I said it was Frank, but it's actually Ellisworth.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I've only ever known him as Bumpy Johnson anyway.
I think Friday Doctor saying there was another Bumpy Johnson. I think so.
No. So there's Bumpy Johnson. His first name is Ellsworth, and then he had his driver. His first name was Frank. I forget his last name, but he's actually also a well-known, well-renowned gangster.
Yeah, Frank's the guy from the Denzel Washington film American Gangster, isn't he? He took over he took over from Bumpy when it was time for Bumpy to finish.
Yeah. Philip Carl Roberts says it's in under the documentary, Rafi. Manny pulled his teeth out and said McClellan did it. Yeah, bro, that wasn't Manny Stewart though. I know what you're talking about. I know the guy who pulled out his teeth, but that wasn't Emmanuel Stewart that did that. That was it. That was the trainer he had for this fight. Can't remember his name. Guy in a green t-shirt. Looks kind of like a Latin guy. Looks kind of Latin, or it could be a light-skinned black. I don't know. Kind of had long afro-ish hair, combed down, not into an afro. Yeah, but that wasn't Manny Stewart. I'm pretty sure that wasn't Manny Stewart. We can discuss this further in further episodes if you can do some research and pull up a link or two. I'm pretty sure I saw a documentary, unless he did it to Manny and then the guy after Manny. So if he did it to Manny as well, then fair enough. I didn't know that. But he certainly did it to the trainer who was training him for this fight, because he pulled out his false teeth and said, Gerald McClellan did it. And I think he did it on purpose. Well, you paid for them, though. Okay. Man, he was a great trainer. Don King helped bring millions to boxing. We'll never forget the ending. Played the John, the Beast Mugabe versus Hagler. We're getting some requests here. That's good. That's very good. But don't forget about the super chat button, guys. And don't forget about the PayPal button. Don King is the best promoter ever lived. It would have been an honor for him to promote me if I chose boxing for my career. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're remembering correctly, because I'm pretty sure we're both talking about the same documentary, and it was the guy who trained him for this fight that Gerald McClellan. There was a guy who had his front teeth knocked out by Gerald McClellan. Pulled him out in the documentary.
The thing about writing Don King to promote you is the chances are he would rob you blind and you'd have to go to court. Muhammad Ali, Larry Holmes, Tim Witherspoon, Mike Tyson, and Terry Norris all had to take Don King to court because of money that they should have received.
They say correlation is not causation, but in this case, I think correlation. It's too much of a coincidence. I think the man unoperated unethically in most cases. Well, in many cases that we know about. Okay. Reverend Pickles says he did well, talking about Nigel Benn. He shouldn't have put Jimmy Tibbs down, though. Okay. I read some little pieces of Nigel Benn's book, and he said that Jimmy Tibbs had his son, whatever his son's name is, who's the trainer of Dillian White these days, had his son come in when he was something like 16, 17 in his corner. He said his son, the son of Jimmy Tibbs, couldn't do anything for him. He was a 16-year-old, 17-year-old. And he was thinking, well, why don't you have my brother in then? Because this guy ain't going to help me. My brother would help me more. So I think Ben had some feelings, some thoughts that, some parts of the Tibbs operation was not to his liking. So it's not a question of him putting Jimmy Tibbs down. It's a question of him speaking his truth. Why did he have his little son? Why did Jimmy Tibbs have his little son in Ben's corner when he couldn't do anything for Ben? Ben said his brother could have been more help than Jimmy Tibbs' son, 16, 17-year-old son. So it's not a question of him putting Jimmy Tibbs down. It's a question of him being there and speaking his truth. That's the way I see it. But I hear you.
Just going back to one of Fight Doctor's earlier points.
Yeah.
Fight Doctor, it was in the National Golden Gloves in '88 that McClellan beat Roy Jones Jr. in the amateurs.
Yeah, that just speaks to how talented he was, and just a shame that what happened. What happened.
100%. I mean, I think part of it though is too much belief in his own power, because he had every skill in the book, but often he chose not to utilize them, which is unfortunate. I mean,
Yeah,
he
listen,
he should have been out of there. And he walks up to the left hook.
Yeah, well, listen, the jab is the best punch in boxing, and that's the thing about guys who punch hard. They sometimes fall in love with their power, but power is a beautiful thing. But at some point, when you're at the upper level of the sport, you got to bring something to the table more than just power. And we saw that with Deontay Wilder, and we've seen that with other guys, that you have to have more than just a big right hand or a big left hook to compete at the top level.
Okay. And if Don King, Mr. Squiggly says, if Don King was still promoting, we'd be talking about Wilder versus Joshua 2 right now. And I have to say, I agree. As a matter of fact, that Wilder wouldn't have been in this position. I think Wilder wouldn't have had the protection that he's had. So I don't think Wilder would have held on for as long as he has. I might be wrong, but that's my perception. Gangsters have nothing to do with boxing. It's fairy tale stuff. Boxing is all about the best with the gloves on. Gangsters have nothing to do with boxing. I think you're very, very wrong there.
Have you heard of Blinky Palermo?
Gangsters have a long history of involvement with boxers. And I hate to break it to you, my friend, but some boxers are gangsters themselves.
Sonny, listing anyone?
Sonny, listing anyone? I could name some people operating in my area right now. We ain't got to go.
Don't do that, Raph. Don't do that. We'll stick with Sonny.
I ain't naming names, but boxing is littered with gangsters, my friend.
We'll stick with Sonny.
Yeah, let's leave it at that. Let's leave it at that. I ain't naming no names. Don't forget about the super chat button, folks. Don't forget about the PayPal button. Don't forget about the like button. Don't forget about the subscribe button. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter and Facebook. All of those areas are supportive to the channel. Okay, Don King for president. Why not? Why not? I ain't mentioning no names. They know who they are. I know who they are. Discretion is wise at times. Okay, so guys, it's been a fantastic show. We've come to the end of the show. Your observations, please, the Fight Doctor, before we say adios for tonight.
Yeah, I watched this fight the night it aired live, and I think since that time I've only watched it 2 or 3 times more. It's always been a painful thing. It still is. I actually love and hate this fight all at the same time. It was a very exciting fight, but just the ending.
Yeah.
The ending was just sad, and
absolutely.
Just what could have been. But maybe guys need to learn how to listen to their trainer. When your trainer says, okay, well, you've had enough, then you just had enough. I'm sure that there were guys around Muhammad Ali that were telling him, like, look, dude, you've had enough. But he chose to fight on, and he suffered the way he had to suffer. So I would just say that anyone who's in the sport, when people start telling you to hang up the gloves, consider your life post boxing. Joe McClellan right now, he's in a wheelchair. I think he's blind and deaf, or blind. I know he's blind.
Blind, yeah.
And he can't walk. He can't take care of himself. So, and I'm sure that there was somebody telling him beforehand, like, look, dude, if you don't stop now, this is what's waiting for you.
Yeah.
So, it's just sad.
Yeah. Absolutely. And those were the final words of Fight Doctor. Thank you for coming on and giving your welcome contribution, Fight Doctor. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you for having me, and see you in the next go round.
Excellente, excellente. And that was the Fight Doctor coming with his contribution. Most welcome. Most welcome. And then there were two. John D. Lee.
I've got to kind of echo a lot of what Fight Doctor said there, really. It's not a fight I've watched very often.
No.
And you know that I like to watch fights back.
Yeah.
And it's really because of the ending and and the result of it, because it is one of the best fights you can watch for entertainment value.
Oh, totally.
But it's tinged by the unfortunate consequence of it.
Yes. Yes, it is.
And I can't really add anything to what Fight Doctor said about listening to your trainer.
You
know, that's what they're there for.
100.
We've just seen Mark Breland hopefully reduce the amount of damage his fighter took. And
100.
we don't need brave corners. We need brave fighters.
100%. We need safe corners. We need safe corners. And thanks for jumping on again, John D. Lee. Chopped it up. It was a two-parter. It was a great first part and a great second part.
Thanks for having me.
100%. 100%. Always good to have your input. And then there was one. There was one. Yeah, so great first part. We talked about the unfortunate events over there in Minnesota. Minnesota's in Minneapolis, in Minnesota. Minnesota's in Minneapolis, something like that. I'm not American. So it was a great first parter, and we chopped it up nicely. Every now and then I do a show and I thought, I could actually listen back to that. Actually doing the show is more often than not enough. But sometimes, every now and then I finish a show and I say, you know what? I could actually listen to that back again. I could actually have a second helping of that. And the Rick Glazer chat we had on Wednesday, that was one of those times. If you haven't checked that out, you missed out. That was fun. Fight Doctor came in and stirred it up a little bit. Stirred up a little bit more. I stir it up, but he stirred up a little bit more. So if you haven't checked that Rick Glazer interview out, which one is it? Which one was it? Have I still got it up here? Or did I delete that? Yeah, I think I may have deleted the thumbnail. No, it's still there. Still there. There it is. Where is it? Where's the background? I've got two backgrounds going on. Oh no, I'm sharing different things. Oh, still can't see it. That's unfortunate. That's highly unfortunate. Can I not share that? No, evidently not. Evidently not. I can't share that thumbnail, but what does it say? Yeah. It's boxing talk with Ralphie 127. If you haven't checked done that one out, it was highly entertaining. And this one, I could actually watch this one again. Certainly the first part. And what a hell of a fight with a very unfortunate ending. But this reminds us. It reminds us of what can happen in boxing. Carl Roberts says, great show, Ralphie. John Daly says, make sure to hit the like, subscribe, comment, and share. And don't be afraid to comment in the comment section, the other comment section, when the video goes up. But yeah, great show. Thanks to everybody who joined in. Troy Graham, John Dealey, and the Fight Doctor. And of course, most of all, you people in the chat who come to enjoy boxing talk non-boxing talk, classic fight review. What I can say is thank you to each and every one of you. Have a blessed weekend. The weather's fantastic. We're living in the COVID times where we got some fantastic conditions. It's great weather. Sun pretty much every day. Long may it continue. Might have to go live tomorrow again, sometime in the daytime. We need to get some boxing talk in. But the only thing left for me to say right now is have a great weekend. And RIP George Floyd and blessed.